Welcome to Chew the Chat podcast.
Like it?
Yeah.
It's come along.
I've been in a brothel though, isn't it?
Like you're waiting to go in. Like you're waiting to go into one of the
transition areas, isn't it? Well, what can you do with a garage, isn't it? Yeah.
Are we rolling, Aidan?
Some Thai lass is going to come out in a minute.
Yeah. With a green curry in a pair of very special little underpants, David. Try and get this vaporizer working. 1, 2, 3. I'm on. Card Young. That's Young.
This is a website I found.
Yeah.
Oh, well, something actually was interesting. The, you know, the synchronicity.
Yes.
I don't know if it was him that coined that.
Okay.
But
what's that then, Aidan?
So you know when
two lasses are having a period together. That sort of.
Yeah, I guess kind of like so when something in the external world happens that like resonates with what's happening on your internal world, but in a way that like you know like it couldn't have, as if it was like a coincidence, but it's too coincidental.
Yeah, that's how I understand it. Like, so coincidences, a sequence of coincidences that seem to be happening almost as if you're manifesting them in a way. Once you start to recognise them, it's almost as if you're manifesting them. So we're chatting away about Brave New World, yeah?
Yeah.
You've just said to me randomly about Brave New World.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Aidan and I, we talk a lot about Aldous Huxley and his philosophy in between these podcasts. And he gifted me a copy of Brave New World.
Yeah.
And for you, so we chat on that, and then something random as an example might happen with you, where you end up bumping into one of your old mates who's turned a corner in his life, and he's talking about Brave New World, and this Brave New World keeps popping up.
Mates, no.
No? They're not going to be, no?
Yeah.
It's just the viz.
Yeah. But yeah, I get you.
Just like a coincidence, but like almost as if it's like...
This says synchronicity involves a connection between inner psychological experience and outer experience in the world, where the connection is acausal in the sense that the inner experience cannot have been an efficient cause of the outer experience. So
a bell chimes within you. It's something.
Right. Fucking hell, we've kicked this off deep. Merry Christmas, Dave.
You know what I mean?
I do.
A light bulb moment. Something's happened.
I like the bell rings because it's Christmas, isn't it? You got bell on that jumper?
No.
Does your nose not ring? Just give your nose a little ring.
It didn't, is it? It's not got a bell.
That would have been fucking brilliant if that rang then. Welcome, David. Welcome back to Chew the Chat podcast.
Thank you, Sam.
You are the most talked about. I think Aidan is Dave's most talked about guest. I think on friend of the show on this.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, you'll be out in the hills, mate, not listening to any of this shit, but you get mentioned a lot on here. So welcome back. It's
Thank
Christmas. You. Merry Christmas, sir.
Yes, Merry Christmas.
So Merry Christmas. Let's pull a cracker. Let's get off to a cracking start. Here we go. Oh. That's ridiculous. What you got for me? Christmas 2020.
Why don't you get a toy? Oh,
I think you get a mask. You have to put a mask on.
I was going to call you a cheapskate, but are these from my house? Good job I remembered that, innit? Hey, they're good crackers, these, son. Yeah, very expensive. Very good. Oh, that is a bit tight, isn't it? Just got a cardboard snowman.
Yeah, you don't get a hat now. You get a mask and a fucking hand sanitizer.
Yeah. Problem with these hats, though, I'll show you.
It matches your jumper. You've landed on your feet there.
Can I take my headphones off a second?
Synchronicity.
Yeah.
Watch this. See?
Oh, fucking hell. That's like you've rehearsed that.
No, it's the girth of my head. It's the size of your head. which we all know why it's so big.
Right, I'm going to win this one. This is my one. Surely I'm going to win this one. Come on. You fuck it. I saw what you did there. That was the thumb clamp.
Yeah.
You did the thumb clamp. There's a tip for you at home. Get the thumb clamp
There
on.
you go.
What is that?
I don't know,
What is that?
to be quite honest.
Come
Anyway, we better talk about something
on,
interesting.
what's that?
haven't
No,
we?
we need, what's more interesting than that right now? What the fuck is that?
I don't know, mate.
What's that, Aidan?
I can't see it.
What is that?
That's a paperclip.
A what?
a paper
fucking
clip.
hell, it's a paper clip, isn't it?
Very droll, that,
Do you
innit?
not get a joke in it, Dave? Is the joke the actual toy itself, or what?
No. You don't get anything.
I don't know
mate.
where I got these fucking things from, but terrible, aren't they? Oh, I have got something for you.
Have you?
I've got a gift for you, David. This is a gift for you.
Come on then, give it me.
Hang on a minute, I'm going to fucking... Guess we need a drum roll or something. No, this is just a gift from me to you. Thank you very much for being a lovely gentleman. The majestic Dave Macgregor, I often...
Thank you very much, Sam.
That's okay.
Oops, sorry.
It's not some dog shit or something, is it?
You have to be careful, it might fire out and hit you in the mush.
Shuggy Bain. Thank you very much. That is a book about Shuggy Bain, obviously. What's he been up to?
Well, he's got a mine in his family mining background. It's in the Thatcher era, and it's a story of addiction and...
I'll not read that now. That'll make me emotional, I think.
No,
Thank you very much, Sam.
that's fine, man. I picked up on you. I think last time we were out camping, you'd mentioned about reading. We was on about what we were reading and stuff,
Yeah.
and that just jumped out. I thought there's
That's lovely. Thank you.
there's a little vibe there. So, thank you, sir.
Oh, my pleasure. For doing what?
Just being a spiffing old boy.
Thank you. You know what I mean? I've really enjoyed sort of, we hooked up in last year, haven't we? And I've really enjoyed what we've been up to.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been great.
Yeah, we've been out camping, and like I say,
I really cherish your friendship. It's been fantastic.
Thank you very much. Well, you put a Christmas jumper on for the show, haven't you? So I appreciate
I've
that.
never worn one ever before.
As
but
your
for
good
you-
lady wife said before we left, 17 years she's tried to get you to wear one of them.
Yeah.
That's how she said
Where
it,
you
Dave.
go, yeah. Yeah.
That's how
Yeah,
she
no, I
said
don't
it.
usually wear them, mate. Yeah. But
Your vape's
anything
gone
for
off,
you.
look.
You know that.
No, it's been a wonderful year, and that's why I wanted to, I'm pleased that we managed to get together and pre-record this Christmas Day. Just get together, a few nibbles, a few drinks. We've been in the studio today. We've been knocking around on the old garage band, recording some noises,
Yeah.
which has been a lot of fun, hasn't it?
Yeah. Plus, I think it's been a bit of a weird journey to our relationship.
Right.
Yeah. Because we're both extremely intelligent.
Well, yes.
I think that's caused problems.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, we're both. I don't know what it is. We certainly didn't was comfortable in each other's company straight away.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But what I've always said, and a lot of my best friends are people that have been like that. A bit challenging to get to know.
Mm-hmm.
You're not quite work them out.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. You don't know if they're a total idiot.
Well, we've got layers, haven't we?
No,
We've
I'm
all
just
got the
joking.
layers.
But yeah.
Well,
yeah.
I think I did.
They're the best friendships, I think.
Yeah, and I said to you not long after I'd met you, how when you meet people in life, some people you meet and it's almost like they just fit the whatever the template at the time of human printing was happening. They just fit that print, like you've got the same shape, face, or the same postures, or there's just certain people I come across and I've experienced. There's like a couple of people I come across, it's like, oh wow, your face is the same, like it moves the same, and your laugh's the same, the tone's the same. And you were one of these people with one of my best friends who sadly left the planet earlier this year, Wade Benson. And just, as you mentioned there, that kind of, when you get to know somebody early and you kind of just slot in, for me there's something in that, because the humour and the kind of the darkness to humour, and where you kind of understand the parameters to not be even, is kind of, I think, says a lot. Do you know what I mean? Like, you can just be without kind of hot stepping, and that reminded me a lot of Wade. And it's just little things, little moments of like, whoa, it's bizarre. I've had that with a couple of people in my life.
Yeah.
But whether or not that's a contributor to where we're at now, but it's been a mad one, because the year's been mad anyway. And with your love for the camping and getting outside, and then dragging me along, and then I've fallen in love with it.
It's been a pleasure. I really enjoyed all that.
It's been amazing this year.
You know what I mean?
It's been amazing.
Because you never know what's going to happen when you two grown men go into the hills today. But it was really cool, yeah.
Oh, I've had a
I really enjoy your company. It's been really good.
So what's Christmas like for you normally then, Dave? Is Christmas a family affair? Is it?
I have a bit of an hard time with Christmas.
Right.
I'm not trying to say that to be cool or anything. But yeah, there was a lot of years when Christmas was really unhappy, going from being really happy when I was a kid with my family. So when I was young, all my family would be around. I used to have a small family, me, my mum and dad, and a couple of other relatives, and we'd always be around. And unfortunately, at an early age, a lot of them died in a short period of time. And then I went off doing all sorts of daft things, and became estranged from my friends, family. So there were a lot of years where I was just on outside looking in, and it were horrible, looking at other people having a good time. Yeah, and I became very disconnected with Christmas. I didn't really have a relationship with Christmas. And so it took a lot of years even after that, even when I was with my present wife. My only wife, I don't know, say present wife, but...
No, number 4.
Yeah. So, it's strange, and it's only the last 5 or 6 years, probably, since my children, even after my first child was born, it was a bit like that. So, but thankfully, yes, I'm happy. I'm all right with Christmas now, mate. Yeah.
So, when you remember, like, going from the point which I think most of us, when we're young, experience Christmas, if we're reasonably lucky, of just like, yeah, it's magical because it's magic for kids. It's been made to be magical for kids. Father Christmas, presents, all that, family coming round, food. When you realised that you kind of were coming away from that, were you aware of it?
Say that again.
So when you went from that lovely kind of normal family enjoying Christmas is something that we look forward to, there's like a nice family affair, family holiday.
Yeah.
To the point where things happen with your life, where you start to come away from Christmas and it's not that happy thing anymore. Are you aware of it at the time?
Oh yeah, because Christmas is tied up with your family, and then, like I said, unfortunately a lot of them passed away. Then your Christmas just reminds me of that, doesn't it? It brings it all back that you've lost people and whatnot, and then not having anybody to spend Christmas with. So yeah, it was shit. Yeah,
because
but that's taken it. But yeah,
no siblings, no
love
brothers
it
and
now.
sisters or anything. You're only born.
Yeah, just me. There's only my mum that's a blood relative, and my children, obviously. Don't forget about my children.
Of course. Well, yeah, they're the ones who turn it round in the end. That's what it's been like for me.
They do, mate. Yeah. I was going to say, you probably got more of a story to tell about that. You had some ups and downs when you were a young child. I think you like what I've been through. In a way, it's all the obvious stuff, going off the rails in your teens, early 20s, and all that business, and getting up to no good. But I do, from what more and more I learn about you, in a lot of ways, I think you have had some real tribulations in your life and a lot of things to deal with, a lot more than me, perhaps. Because, like, even when I talk about my relatives dying, I was a young adult by that stage,
right?
And all your years when you're a child, when you're what can I say? I suppose you're at your most sensitive, aren't you? And that's when you need to be nurtured and loved. That's certainly, I know now, that's certainly when you had a lot of problems like that, didn't you? And I didn't. Yeah,
your family together.
Yeah, it was really great, my childhood, when you really need it and all that. Whereas you were moving house, weren't you? And you Your mum had different relationships.
Yeah, it was. It was a pivotal time, really. And me being the oldest out of three of us, I think I was kind of 6, 7 when it was all really, just proper separated. So my sister, a couple of years younger, she'd have been 4, 5. And then my little brother would have been 1, 2. So, yeah, a lot of disruption. And it's only until I've had my kids where you realise, Jesus Christ, that kind of disruption in a life is massive when you're that age. But when you are that age, you're just kind of bouncing off of things and moving. Oh, we're going there, we're going here, we're back here, we're going there. Strange. And you don't realise until later that nurture that you talk of, that just simple, just things are together. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. When you say simple, it's massive, all that. Yeah. But it does. It seems odd looking back. But I have got some of my best Christmas memories were going to my Nana Betty, Nana Pepper, we used to call her, my dad's mum. Because there was a family vibe. That was a real nice family vibe. You went down there, and my little Nan would be down there, little Jessie. Hello, darling! She's like 3 foot and a fag packet. Like 96, I think she lived to.
So this is your dad's family?
Yeah, this is my dad's nan, my mum's mum, his mum's mum. And she proper East Londoners, through the war and all that.
Yeah.
And she was literally like the size of that can, she was. White little puff hair.
Yeah,
and she's just boisterous and... Yeah,
she's quite a warm person.
Yeah.
Because Londoners, like when I lived in London, I noticed I had a lot in common coming from where I did. I had a lot in common with Londoners. Yeah, it was nice. There was just a nice vibe down there. It was lovely. My dad made the effort to get us across to me mum's parents, because my family all came from down there. So my mum's dad lived just across Berkshire in a place called Bracknell. So we would have been in Maidenhead. One of my mates is from Bracknell.
Yeah, so my dad would zip us over to see him as well, and we'd get to see him. So
I used to live in Windsor and that.
Yeah, well, that's where my mum's from. Yeah,
is
Windsor.
It? Sorry.
No, that's all right, mate. So that was it. But teenage years, same for me, really. Just checked out of that. I was like, fuck this, I'm out. I was in the clubs. I was out partying. I was getting in Christmas Day like. I'm not eating anything. I will not be eating anything. I just not, it wasn't even anything. Almost like I don't know, pushing back at it in a way. I don't know. Odd.
Yeah.
Some fun times, but some, Whereas now with the kids, it's just like, I don't know, it's magic. Make it magic for them. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Do you know much about the origins of Christmas? What do you understand about the origins of Christmas?
No, I don't.
Have you never read about it or looked into it or even thought?
Wasn't it?
No, I know stuff like...
how's it all marry up?
I know stuff like Father Christmas's colour scheme, where that comes from and stuff. You don't mean
Your
that,
jumper,
though, do
isn't
you? Yeah.
What? So, St. Nicholas, the biblical side of it?
No.
All of the dates and all that?
Probably what my grandma told me.
It's probably about right.
Some geezer used to like giving things away or something.
What do you know, Aidan, about Christmas and its origins?
Wasn't it allegedly when Jesus was born?
I believe the dates, that's what all the dates are, aren't they?
Yeah.
Where Santa Claus comes in,
I think
I'm not sure.
Wasn't he like a German myth or something? I don't know.
Saint Nick.
Yeah, I swear it was like this.
Where does it play in? How do we end up with a bloke coming down your chimney, giving you presents that ties into...
in that just for children's benefit, and that just...
I don't... Yeah, well,
nice
probably, but how did it come about?
Yeah, I don't know.
What we got here? Like early representation of the gift giver, St. Nicholas. Santa Claus, US, 1773.
What's this, Wikipedia? Oh, my God.
1821. Well, I thought it dated like 11th century, wasn't it? Am I totally off the book? This is what I mean. I've never really I have heard Terence McKenna talk about the idea that it's like the pagans' celebration of it, and to do with the flying reindeers and the mushroom, the Amanita muscaria, the white and
Tripping, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. And that they would celebrate it, and the flying reindeers and the little elves and that all come derived from hallucinations of an Amanita muscaria mushroom.
Yeah. Lots of our culture is supposed to come from that, isn't it? To do with childhood nursery rhymes and fairy tales.
Yeah.
God knows what.
That I think that was when it got me thinking about it, but I've never really visited it much longer than that. See if you can find that, Aidan. The Terence McKenna talking about the psychedelic origins of the pagan Christmas. But I found it fascinating because when you do look at the old Christmas cards, they've all got, so many of them have got like the red and white spotted fly garret mushroom.
Have they?
Yeah.
Have they?
You have a lot.
I didn't know
you get
that.
some examples.
Right.
Yeah, that fly garret mushroom. Look.
Yeah.
What's this one? How long's this video, Aidan? How long's that second one?
It's 2 minutes.
What we got?
An example of how a very ancient folkway can be incorporated into our culture without us even realizing it, and is provided by discussing Amanita muscaria. If you go to the Encyclopedia Britannica and you look up Santa Claus, they'll tell you that it has to do with St. Nicholas, and it got started in the 11th century, but when you look at the Santa Claus story, it's a perfect mythologium to analyze from this point of view, because look what's going on with Santa Claus. First of all, Santa Claus's colors are red and white, the colors of the Amanita muscaria, for sure. Santa Claus lives at the North Pole. What does this mean? It means that Santa Claus lives at the Axis Mundi, where Yggdrasil, the magic world ash of Welsh mythology, has taken root. Santa Claus flies. This is what shamans do. Santa Claus is the master of the reindeer, the animal most associated with the Amanita muscaria. Santa Claus is aided in his work by troops of elves. And what is the work of Santa Claus? To build toys for children. Remember the DMT things saying, look at this, look at this. Well, those were off-duty elves, clearly. So here are all the motifs. And I believe that for children in our culture, that all the Christer stuff is not what Christmas is about. Christmas is about standing in front of the tree on Christmas morning with the gifts arrayed and the twinkling lights on. Well, that tree is the tree that the Amanita muscaria forms its symbiotic relationship to. It's always spruce or pine that it has a mycorrhizal relationship to. So the number of motifs relating Santa Claus to a cult of Amanita muscaria, there's almost nothing but relational motifs there, and yet if you suggest this to people, they just back away in horror. Well,
I thought Santa Claus's colour scheme came from a Coca-Cola advertising campaign.
I think in the end it
Something
did. I think
like
that's
that.
what solidified it, wasn't it? When was that? That was Was that the 70s when Coke did that?
No, this is 1800s, isn't it?
Was it?
Yeah, 19th century.
Coke?
Coca-Cola, yeah, it's been around for ages, isn't it? Used to be a drugstore drink, a tonic. Used to put cocaine in it.
Right.
Yeah.
I have heard that. In fact, funnily enough, I'm reading Horrible Histories, World War One.
And Santa Claus is only quite a recent thing, isn't it? You know, like the current incarnation of Christmas, and it all been loads of gifts flying about and all the rest of it. That blueprint for Christmas is quite a modern thing, isn't it?
Yeah, well, that's what I was getting at. I'm not sure how does it all come together.
Well, there's a commercial motivation for half of it, isn't there? Obviously.
So what we got then for Coke? When's Coke? 1930s. Because when I was reading Horrible Histories with my boys,
Oh, it's 1930s.
it was interesting.
Right.
Coca-Cola, like as a brand, as a drink, because they were sending Coke to the boys out in the field because of the bad water in places. Yeah, and like it was like and they ended up with, I think there's something like quadrupled their plants all around the world, sending out Coke to everybody in who was out in the fields fighting.
Okay.
This
is the Second World War.
I think it was the first.
Right.
I think it was the first. We're reading both of them kind of intermittently. The first and the Second World War.
Christmas even, we're only going back a couple of generations, aren't we? And it's not the commercial entity that it is now, is it? I mean, your grandparents, what did they just got smack in the mouth or something? They keep telling us
smack in the mouth and a lump of coal. Cheers, by the way.
What was it? They didn't get very much, did they? And it just wasn't what it is today, is it?
No, we've managed to.
Even when I've been a child,
yeah,
not so long ago,
50s.
Yeah, that's a long. It's completely different now to what people spend and what's normal, what's expected.
Yeah, there's a lot of pressure with it, isn't there? Countries whose national postal operators answer letters to Santa, and at the end of the year holiday figures. Letters received to Germany, 500,000, Australia, 117,000, Austria, Bulgaria, Canada. So what they're saying then, they answer letters to Santa.
I don't know if that just means they count them. I don't know.
So that's the countries who are sending letters to Santa for their list of goodies. Bulgaria don't give a fuck, look, 500 letters. Fuck yeah.
So what's the difference between the poor countries and the rich countries? I bet the poor countries have got a lot less of these letters go flying about, haven't they?
You'd have thought so.
United Kingdom's one of the larger ones, isn't it? And then if you go over to, I bet America's got loads, isn't it? Because that's obviously a massively capitalist place, isn't it?
United States, no figure as statistics are not kept centrally.
No, they couldn't keep count.
Couldn't keep count.
But Canada's up there, and they've not got a big population related to us, but they got 1 million letters. Proof. Proof of what I'm saying.
That whiskey's got a fucking... It's got a kick now. Single malt Scotch, Glenfiddich. Yeah. Wore me cockles on Christmas Day, that. So have you got a funny Christmas story, Dave? You must have a funny Christmas story. One of your nanas shat herself or something at the table. Any of them?
No, not really. No. I remember my grandma telling me accidentally Santa Claus didn't exist. Well, I was only about 6 as well, and she's like, "Oh, you know Santa Claus doesn't exist, don't you?" And my mum jumps in, "What are you saying that for, Mum? He's only 6." And my grandma going, "Oh, I thought you were a lot older." So yeah, from 6 onwards.
Do you reckon that sunk in? Did that kind of click?
Oh yeah. Well, you have your suspicions anyway by that age, don't you?
Yeah. So yeah, my son he's starting to say it's you put them.
Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah, bless him.
You know, Aidan.
What's that?
You know Santa's not real, don't you?
Yeah, the parents told me last year.
Right, yeah.
When did you figure it out, Aidan? How old were you when you were like, hang on a minute, everyone's been lying to me?
I don't know, but I remember staying up all night to catch my parents. And then
Did you ever catch them?
Yeah, when I caught them, I was too scared to reveal that I was awake the entire time. I didn't want to ruin it for them. So
how did that go the next? When you're down for breakfast on Christmas morning and you know that they don't know that you know. How's that playing out in your mind? Are you thinking,
how did you catch
me?
Them? How did you catch them?
I just stayed awake.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I didn't say anything until recently. I mean, I think at that point I did know that Santa wasn't real, but that was the first time I caught them, and I would have been probably 10, maybe less than that.
You needed the evidence.
8. Yeah.
The core proof.
Right, yeah.
I can remember, like, at my nana Pepper's. I don't know about you, and maybe this plays into what you said about the changing and moving around, because when I do look back, I kind of have memories of being laid in a bed, you know, in one of my grandparents' spare rooms, you know, and you'd be in a nice kind of spare room with like a dado rail and a border, you know, and like wallpaper and like nice floral bed covers. And I can always remember like finding myself every now and again coming around in a bed and just like knowing that it wasn't your bed and that you've got the like flowery duvet on me and I'm in this other place. But then I can always remember thinking that on Christmas at my nana's, and she would have read us a book. We would have read like a Christmas book going to bed, that was always a nice thing.
Yeah, yeah.
And then like going to sleep and looking out, peering out just out the corner of the window. And back then it used to be like winter as well. I seem to remember it as. It used to be like...
It is winter Christmas.
Yeah, but it used to feel like, you know, it would be cold, there'd be frost, there'd be a bit of snow. It would feel like...
Bit tight with central heating as much.
Yeah, well, not just cold, David. Do you know what I mean? There was actually like... There used to be snow and stuff. It used to be cold. And I've got memories of that anyway. But I do always remember being there and having a feeling of magic. I can remember that.
Yeah?
Yeah, and then waking up and then... At the end of my bed. How did you used to do it? I used to have a stocking at the end of the bed. Literally like a...
Did you?
Yeah, stocking at the end of the bed. And then that'd get filled up.
Yeah, my wife used to have a stocking. I think she still does, actually, you know what I mean? So do her brothers. One of them was about 52 or something. Sorry, you...
Now, how did you do it, though? Because everyone does it different, don't they? Or did you... Some people just have presents under the tree?
Just a pile of presents in the living room.
Right, it, yeah? Mm. How about you, Aidan?
Yeah, we used to wrap them.
We had a stocking and... Yeah.
Just in a carrier bag?
Yeah.
Just a couple of carrier bags?
Yeah, a bin liner.
Sorry, Aidan, how did you do it?
I guess I think similar to you.
Yeah, well, Alec, like my wife and I, with the kids, she did it a bit different. So we were like, right, Christmas, right, we'll do this. She's like, what? I said, no, we put a stocking at the end of the bed. And then in the stocking is like stocking fillers, so just daft little stuff, you know, like an orange and a lump of coal and a...
Yeah, this is what my wife does, Sarah, yeah?
Yeah.
She has little bits and bobs.
Little bits in there. And then they're like from Santa. They appeared.
Yeah.
They're the ones that appeared. And then when we go downstairs, then there's presents from the family or what have you. And when we do, oh, that's from your auntie and that's from your uncle or whatever. But I can always remember that being quite magical because those presents that ended up in you like you.
So
Aidan,
you were with your dad when this was happening?
Yeah, I'd have been. I think my mum did it the same way because they would have done it that way when they were together. And then I definitely remember when we were at my.
Why were you with your dad then? It's all time.
No, this would have been. You know how it is. Kids get fucking weaponised, don't they? So you end up being like a bargaining tool.
Oh, no, I don't.
I'll have him this Christmas.
I don't know anything like that.
Yeah, I think from what I gather, you know, like, you know, your parents split up and who was having you at Christmas? And it's like you have him this day to that day, or we'll have him till... And then for some people, if they've got plans or they've got other things going on, it's handy to, have a good Christmas. You know, so I just remember being...
But Christmas Day was spent always with your dad? And,
no, not always. I've just the memories that I seem to have fondly held are the ones whenever I would have been gone with me. It would have been my dad's Christmas to have us, and we would always go down to his mum. So we would leave here, East Midlands, and go back down south where I was born to his mum. Yeah, and then that's where I'd have Christmas, and they seem to be the fondest memories of Christmas I've got.
Okay,
which is what I said to you before about, like, you know, my little nun, you know, being there, and just there was a vibe, a family vibe. It felt nice down there.
Nice. Mm.
Whereas up here, it was never quite. I don't know. It always felt a bit disjointed. But I do have magical memories, and then, like I say, that you wake up in a night and check your stocking. You know, really, it's like 9:20 or something. You just woke up like 40 minutes after you're gone, and then wake up again. I'll maybe do that a couple of times, and it's empty, and then wake up again, and then fucking hell, it's got loads of stuff in it. That was magic. I loved that. That was magic.
So you'd be on your own in room, just opening all your small stuff.
I wouldn't be on my own because there's three of us. So
all right,
there'd probably be at least one more, and some maybe even three of us, it would be in a room.
So when did you used to charge downstairs? Did everybody used to get up and all family there? And
we would be up.
Presents?
It might be probably, I don't know, 4:30 or something by the time and you've got.
Yeah, you used to get up early.
You remember I'd have like a big tube of Smarties in it.
Did
so
adults used to get up at that time? Did they?
I think we got told to get back. Get yourselves too early. Get yourselves back in bed, and you're just back in the room, and you could have the light on, and you'd be eating chocolate coins and playing with your yo-yo, and do you know what I mean? What did you get? I can remember that. That was magic. And then everyone would get up, and then we'd go down, and it'd be like, So
and what did you used to get? What sort of presents what sort of main present would you be getting?
I think I remember getting a mountain bike. And it would have been one of the Christmases at my Nana Betty's, because I can remember it. I'd have been about 9 or 10, I think. Maybe a bit younger, 8 or 9, somewhere there.
Must have been small.
And I remember I really wanted a mountain bike, and there was talk of me getting a mountain bike. And then opened all the presents, everything was great, the whole thing, stocking, downstairs, presents, and I can remember I got a really cool remote control car, like a good one, a Porsche 928, like a good one. It had a real long range on it, it was butch, it was a proper good, I was over the moon with it, but there was a little bit in me that was just like, I wanted a bike.
Right.
But I was aware of it, and I never said anything. I was super grateful for what we had and everything. It was amazing. The remote control car was amazing.
I've had ones like that where you don't quite get,
But then my old man was like, "Oh boy, what's that? I think you go and take that outside and out the back garden." And then when I got out the back garden, there was this white and green Amel. It was an Amel mountain bike.
Right.
I think it had 6 gears. It was like not far off green, like a bit of green like this with white. And I was like, that was amazing. And then I remember just getting on it and just riding in the frosty cold, what seemed like a snowy, frosty, cold day on my bike just for hours and hours, big red cheeks and red fingers, and I come back like, you're going to come in now, darling, out. And just staying on the bike.
Yeah.
I remember that. But presents, I think we, presents.
Did it used to go mad then?
No, I don't think so. We were always lucky. I mean, we never, we were lucky. I mean, it's a weird thing to measure, isn't it? The presents and that is a mad thing. Because as I am today, I'm off telling my family, look, don't buy them loads of stuff, because it just, I don't know if it's because I'm older or stuff's changed, but it does feel like we just buy stuff.
Yeah, that's how it feels to me, yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I used to have friends that you could quite a lot back then. But, yeah, definitely. In fact, yeah, I don't really know. I have glimpses into people with the kids, and some of them, it's ridiculous, isn't it? It's like literally hundreds and hundreds of pounds.
And it's what drives that? Like, I don't know what drives that, because I know that when I was a kid, it was
hard
like,
to understand.
I want this, I want that, and I can't remember, and I'm sure we probably were, but was I unwrapping a present and then fucking chucking that remote control car to the side? What's next? It's hard to remember, and there's not a lot of footage or anything like that, but I again, am privy to some children, and it's something I try and be mindful of with my own, is like, sort of, we are so lucky and things are so abundant that they get this unwrap a Nike tracksuit. You watch it, it's a 60 quid, then that just goes over there, then like, what's this? Then rip that open, and it's a,
it's messing with like the value system in it, and where they sit on how they value things, what their expectations are, and it's totally unnecessary, isn't it? It's basically, when people say it's for the kids, well, when all these relatives are wafting all this money and throwing up, then that's not for the kids, that's for them. Yeah, and it's them that say it's for the kids as well.
Yeah, it's weird, because it seems like a
that's
cultural
their
thing.
validation, isn't it? That I've got my hand in my pocket, I've doned out the money, and all connotations that is, whether they think it makes them a good person or whatever it is. But you are messing with that kid and the way they perceive
the value of things.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, you're right. That's probably what I'm wrestling with now. I definitely am more. And also, I think everybody's family politics plays into it, doesn't it, as well? So a bit like you're saying there, you know, you can give yourself a pat on the back because look what I've done, or look what I got, or look what I spent, or whatever.
It does, yeah.
And there's probably some guilt in that way, you know, you want to, you because I believe culture tricks us a bit, Dave. You know, culture tricks everybody into, you know, buying a great gift or buying this or presenting this is like, that's the good thing to do. But sometimes I think...
No, it's not, is it?
It's not.
Corrupting a child is not, in that sense, is... No, that's not a good thing to do, is it?
It's like
crazy, really.
Presents and presents. It would have been Wade who said this to me, funnily enough. Presents and presents. And he would always say to me, I would prefer your presents. You know, and that stuck with me thinking back to the kids, you know, like, so over the course of a year. And I felt, you know, you probably feel this with when you're growing up, I don't know, but if somebody turns up and you get an amazing present, but then you don't, then that's it. You kind of do the kiss and the, you know, and then like this person's gone again.
Yeah.
And that's a weird thing.
I remember having different relatives, and some would go spoil me a bit, and then others would not do that and explain why, you know, because they thought like what I was saying, that it would ruin you and it wasn't right, and flashing money wasn't the way to define Christmas, show person you love, etc. And I do remember in the long run respecting them more, because my relationship with them, you know, outside Christmas isn't then corrupted by your expectations and maybe getting something, etc. So it's really just you and that person and relationship, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. That's lovely. And I think that's probably harder and harder to do today with the expectations of culture.
Yeah.
Because kids are putting adverts on and seeing the whole thing. I mean, you watch... People say to me every year now, have you seen the new, what's the fucking advert that everyone watches, Aidan? What's the fucking advert? They do an advert every year and it's like...
Where's he gone?
Oh, John Lewis.
John Lewis. Have you seen the John Lewis advert? Oh, it's just beautiful.
That's fucking
I want to live in
that
house with those people and have that Christmas.
Yeah.
And it works. It really does work. You know, it kind of makes people... And I fucking hell, I don't know. I'm at a weird spot, because even with my kids now, like, making it magical and everything's great, but we're really, like, we're aware of, like, just giving them loads of stuff. Probably a bad idea.
Yeah, I mean, it all depends what you're giving them, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, stuff. Just stuff. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. You see, I've been introduced to the thing, it's all right to give it loads of stuff if it's cheap.
I don't know about cheap. I think meaningful, if it means something, isn't it?
Well, it's all tied up in that giving's good, isn't it? And it's good. But then you have to ask yourself, I understand the concept of giving, but that's in a material sense. So you can give your time, can't you? You can give your
presence,
love. Yeah, exactly, yeah. Yeah, that's
what I found. I sat with that, with what I think Wade said, and being around in the person's life, and then when Christmas comes around, there's already something there, isn't there? There's always some meaning or some, I don't know, something tangible, as opposed to just, here I am, there you go, and we'll move on again. Strange.
Yeah,
strange.
It's corrupting what can be something special, isn't it? Because you all have time off, you all spend time with each other, and full stop. That's really what the essence should be, shouldn't it? And when you start wafting loads of money about and giving presents, then that important thing that can be a lesson to children and doing some good, you're actually corrupting that, aren't you, and taking away from that, and it's becoming something else, because they haven't got the maturity to see through, to put greed aside and think, oh no, I can sideline that and see the importance of what it's really about. They haven't got the maturity to do that, have they? So it can be a shame for them.
Yeah, it is. Watching films again, though, with my kids has been ace. Like, watching the films again through their experience, you know, like, Home Alone. Do you enjoy Home Alone at Christmas?
No, I'm not great on that, watching all them films.
Are you not?
No.
Is that you're not fine?
No.
Do the kids enjoy it?
No.
No.
Sorry, they enjoy the films, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
See, I've
Well,
really
like,
enjoyed
if I-
watching them again.
Yeah, we don't like that. They're not into like watching Dirty Harry with me either and all that, you know what I mean? Stuff like that.
I would have thought the girls would have been up for that.
No, I made a few mistakes with films.
Yeah.
This is why they all sleep in our bedroom.
I got bollocked up once by Alex in Thailand. We were in Thailand and it was really, really fucking hot one day. And it was a Saturday and we just couldn't. We just had to stay in the house with the aircon on, just chilling. And I ended up just putting a movie on and just flicking around. I came across this movie. Scarlett Johansson, I think, was in it, and it was called. Oh, she's an alien. This would have been about 2015, Aidan. She was like it was really like she's in Scotland in a transit van. Under the skin, I think. Was it Scarlett Johansson? Underneath the skin, and she's in a transit van, just driving around. I think Scotland. She's in Scotland at one point. She just kind of pull over, like, you know, minimum dialogue and just really kind of stark and bleak.
But she's in a transit van. She a builder or something?
Yeah, look. Is this it? Let's watch the trailer for this. This was like Kubrick. This jumped out like Kubrick to me.
Yeah, it's very Space Odyssey, that, isn't it?
Yeah.
So you live alone?
Yes,
Think I'm pretty?
I know gorgeous.
Come to me.
Oh, it's good, that.
Yeah, I mean, it's heavy.
When was the last time you touched someone? You don't want to wake up, do you?
Yeah, anyway, I put that
That's
on.
a good
Yeah?
film, that.
Yes.
Was it good?
Can you imagine the atmosphere? So my little boy's, you know, I don't know.
Yeah, you're sort of idiot like I am, then. Yeah.
18-month-old. It's like 10 o'clock on a Saturday afternoon. Me mother-in-law's in the house. We're all in the house. It's red hot. We can't really go anywhere. I've got a big telly in the middle of this open space villa, and I just shut all the blinds and put that on at like 10 o'clock in the morning. And Alex, being the sweetheart she is kind of pissed, but never like told me to turn it off or anything. She just kind of made it clear a couple of times that, of the signal that I missed, you know, like. And then when it
this is
finished,
what
and I was
I'm
like, fucking hell, that was mental. She went, you're fucking not fucking wrong. That's been fucking awful. They're all in the house just listening to that. I didn't even think.
Yeah.
Terrible. But cracking film for, a hungover Christmas night. Watch that. Have you seen that, Aidan?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, I think you'd enjoy that. It's pretty dark. But yeah, that one a good move. But I love watching the Christmas films with the kids. Like,
Yeah, can't be doing with me, man.
I've managed this year to get
Gives
them
me
to
the
hang
gripes.
fire. Because isn't it funny? Like you
Me
said,
angry.
you are, aren't you?
It's been mad.
Mad Macgregor, Mad Mr. Macgregor. The internet, like you said, with presents and like abundance, Coca-Cola, fucking hijacking, you know, YouTube and that, they can watch, like the snowman. Yeah? Remember the snowman? We're walking in the air.
Yeah,
Dude,
yeah.
Amazing. You must like that, Dave. Come on, give us some.
Take it or leave it.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
There's that. There's Father Christmas, which is an animation like that.
We'll
and
watch one together.
we should. But even with the kids in the years up until now, they'd start watching them as soon as they go in the shop in the co-op and they've got like Christmas stuff in the co-op in like September. They'd be like, oh, we'll watch the Snowman. We'll watch these. Start watching all the Christmas films like straight away in like November,
In the co-op?
October.
What do you mean?
I mean, when they go in the shops and the shops have got Christmas stuff out, which triggers the whole, it's Christmas. And then the kids come home and they go on YouTube and they start watching Christmas programs and stuff. So by the time Christmas comes,
Oh, right.
do you see what I mean? Like the idea of watching the snow. It's quick. Oh, we'll watch the Snowman. That'll be nice. That's been done like 3 months ago. You've nailed that. Like,
Yeah.
that whole abundant thing.
Well,
do you know
there's
the
a big
abundance?
issue with all that internet, isn't there? Because like kids, when they get on the internet, they can watch what they want, when they want, and as much of it. Whereas when I was a kid, kids' TV used to be on from 4:15 till whatever, 3/4 of an hour, and that was it, wasn't it? And then you had to do something else.
Yeah.
But obviously, and the way their brains work is if they like something, they then don't have the maturity to think, is it okay for me to just spend the rest of my life doing this one thing? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, that is a problem with internet because they can just watch whatever they want when they want, and it can be non-stop, can't it?
Mm.
Whereas when I was a child, you were a child, it was different, wasn't it?
No, that's something this year. My kids, I said to them, I said, look, when they were about to put whatever on, I said, why don't we wait? Save that one. Save that one till Christmas because then it'll be better. Because that abundance is what frightens me to death. When you can just have everything now, as you say, and abundantly.
Some of the shite on YouTube when it comes to kids, I mean, it's...
Yeah, you got to be
You
careful
watch
with
some videos where it's just somebody's hand opening...
toys.
Unwrapping shit. And what do they call it? There's a special name for that. It's an unboxing video.
Yeah. Unboxing. Do you watch them?
No, I don't, Sam.
Come on, you must watch a couple.
I've seen them, yeah, because I've looked over my kid's shoulder. But when I do that, I don't go, oh, right, stay there for 10 minutes.
What's this one? Look?
Yeah, this is it.
What, and then they just unbox?
I'm pretty sure when I was in Norway, I watched one. It was like, I was just looking at all. I got stuck in the algorithm, and they put some questionable music on in the background. I'm pretty sure there's like some unconscious programming going on.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, who ends up making a channel like this? That this is what you do. I mean, to make this video, there's all sorts of cuts and editing, and fucking do that again.
Plus, there's people on YouTube, isn't there, Aidan? And you know this as well, where they've got the kids because the kids are cute, and to do some sort of,
right.
you know what I'm going to say,
Yeah,
don't you?
yeah.
And that's all they do then, don't they? I can't think of an example exactly what they do.
What, like monetising the cuteness? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, but what's an example of that? What Aidan?
What was those?
See, to make a video like this, there's some shitloads of editing and filming. It's not a quick job.
No, well, some of them are millionaires, aren't
Yeah.
they? There's this one guy in particular that I remember, Nigel something he's called,
No,
right?
he sounds like a
He's from Nottingham or
Questionable.
somewhere in the... Does he? Nigel?
Nigel. I mean, how many Nigels do you know
Well, no, I'm not.
that you would trust off the bat without a first couple of meetings?
Does he mean this kind of thing?
Yeah, I know. Well, I sort of know what he's saying.
What's that track that we listen to at work? For Nigel. What's that? Dun 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 dun. For Nigel.
I know what you mean, but I don't...
80s track, I'm sure it was.
Yeah.
He's dodgy Nigel in that track.
I know that this is one of them. She's just like a...
My middle name's Nigel.
There you go. The rest of my case.
But yeah, this guy, all he does... In fact, I vaguely... It is coming back to me. Well, it's just videoing what they do day to day.
Oh, like a vlog.
Yeah, it'd be a vlog. And So they'd be just doing daft things. I can't remember the specifics.
Yeah.
But it does appear that that's now all his child does.
Yeah.
And he has got a massive house, and I did a bit of research on him, and it all comes from that.
Yeah, they get sponsored.
Because he was in trouble with police a couple of years ago and lived on a council estate. So, yeah, it all comes from that. And he's got a mega house like a footballer would have.
Nigel.
Yeah, I don't know his name. Not been very specific.
Yeah, but I know what you're saying. There is
Awful, really, you know.
yeah, your whole life. I mean, even
if
some
you
of the
can,
YouTubers
mate.
that I watch, just from learning to do how to get your YouTube right for this, watching YouTubers who have like crafted the art of YouTube and how to monetize their brand or whatever it is. If you get into that whole family thing, the whole family vlogging, there seems to be a shitload of money in it. If you get sponsored and get picked up and you get all these likes and you become affiliate of whatever. But your whole life must just start being like a setup. Like, oh, right, this will be great. Right, stay there. Hold that. Do that again. Do that. Right, hang on a minute.
Yeah.
Get this.
Yeah.
You know, like, oh, yeah, wait there. What's Dad doing? Hang on a minute. I'm just editing that. Just put, you know, like the whole thing becomes that. But then the momentum builds where the money's coming in. If you're earning $3,000 a month, yeah, from just taking pictures on your fucking camping trip in the peaks, you know, people keep doing it. And then you keep doing it and you try and get more money.
Plus the majority don't get there, do they? So there'll be a lot of people wasting the time. Yeah.
But I've said this to Alex, my wife, before. You know, just imagine that it's all well and good saying, oh, you know, videoing this and that and the other, just living your life and earning money from it is cool. Well, yeah, on the one hand, but no, because really it's fundamentally bad, isn't it? Because a bit like you're saying about the Christmas presents, you know, like just getting stuff. You know, it's just you've made it artificial, haven't you? You've like made it artificial. You're now creating a thing for the thing's sake, and it's no longer what it was. So the meaning's gone anyway.
Yeah, there isn't much meaning in it, is there? It's not a skill. You're not actually doing anything majorly
stuff.
good for the world or anything, are you? You're not.
Yeah.
And there must be a lot of self-assessment involved in during that process of trying to get attention from people. And
I'll tell you what I would like to see as a
everything.
Christmas present, as a Christmas Day present for not just us but for the viewers. Can we just see Matt Hancock laugh crying quickly? Where Matt Hancock laugh cries, because this is we're not going to get a pantomime this year, but this was
It's close enough.
this is close enough. Yeah.
It is a very good day, Matt Hancock, and you have every reason of vaccinating everybody because you've made it very top of your priority list are care home residents. But this vaccine needs to be stored at such low temperature.
That's William Shakespeare. Can you believe William Shakespeare had the vaccine on there? Look, William Shakespeare from Warwickshire as well. Wasn't William Shakespeare from Warwickshire?
Yeah.
I mean, just simple words.
There we go.
Reacting it.
Go on, Matt.
You're quite emotional by that.
Well, it's just, you know, it's been such a tough year for so many people, and there's William Shakespeare putting it so simply.
Just
for
pause
everybody.
it there, Aidan.
You know,
William Shakespeare from Warwickshire has just had a vaccine. And he's laughing, but crying, but laughing.
we can get on with our lives, and you know, there's still a few months to go. I've still got this worry that we can't blow it now, Piers. We've still got to get the vaccine to millions of people, and so we've got to keep sticking by the rules. But it's just, you know, there's so much work gone into this, and I'm really.
One more cry, Aidan.
You're quite emotional by that.
Well, it's just, it's been, you know, it's been such a tough year for so many people.
You're quite emotional by that.
Well, it's just, it's been.
How do you feel about that, David?
I'm touched, actually.
It's
got me.
Do you feel?
What do I feel
Do you
about
genuine?
that?
Do you feel that was genuine?
Oh, not a lot, mate. Not a lot. Yeah.
No. Do you want another beer, by the way?
Yeah, thank you.
I'll take my Christmas hat off first. Do you want a beer, Aidan? Yeah, where you at with all that? I don't want to go deep into it, Dave, but like that was quite a pivotal moment
Politicians
for me.
crying? Used to it. I'm used to it. I've got used to it.
Yeah.
A bit insincerity from politicians.
Yeah.
Duplicitousness. Yeah, thank you. Rescued me there. Yeah, I mean, got used to it a long time ago. That's the way the world is.
It's
you know,
a shame,
the whole thing needs to change, doesn't it? Because anybody, well, that's how they are. I mean, I grew up in Doncaster, didn't I? When Prime Minister at country decided to write off communities all over Doncaster, implement a policy of managed decline because they weren't part of the plans anymore. Wrote everybody off, under-resourced the place steadily, and just left it out to dry. And you know, some of my friends now who've died recently, that's would be all implicated in that because they didn't, when they left school, they didn't have a future, etc., and it all goes wrong from there. So I got used to that at a very young age. You know, politicians used to that a long time ago.
In talking of that lady in question, Dave,
I like to not invest much of my energy into all that because...
No, I take that from you. But how much do you feel like you need to keep a tab on what's actually happening, or are you past that even?
In what's specifically, what do you mean?
Because I'm at a stage in my life where 100% I'm with you. Like I get it. The structure itself is bent out of shape by its very nature.
Yeah.
And I understand that now, and I've got enough experience having lived a couple of generations as an adult. Well, 10 years through a couple of generations of Prime Minister and so on, to realise that. But I'm still at this point where I kind of half keep my toe in just to see. Do you know what I mean? Like I've still got too much attachment to like what it means. What could it mean? I don't know if that's because I'm hopeful that things could change, or if I'm just still naive to. I don't know.
How do you mean? What you keeping?
Like if they put it into law that we have to get a vaccine, like that will affect us all.
Yeah, well, for that, I guess I still pay it a bit of energy. Like I know that you don't. I still do. And
I used to bore people talking about politics.
Right. I like to think I've never been that full on. I just keep my toe in.
I got nicked once trying to paint the Conservative Club red in Doncaster after Neil Kinnock lost the election in 1992.
Really?
I used to read stuff about Leon Trotsky essays and all sorts. Doncaster's a very communist place, very political. When I grew up there, a lot of my dad's friends weren't interested in communists. They were communists. You know what I mean? It was a very political place. But you know how I feel about spending my energy in life. Unless it opens up possibilities for me and my family and potential in life, then I try and stay clear of stuff that seems to tie people up in knots regarding things that they can't change. Things
That's
that
good advice,
way
Dave.
out of their control.
That's a Christmas present, that, for everybody. That's good advice. And that's something I think to a degree we are all aware of, but for some reason we get entangled, don't we? And like caught up and maybe, I don't know. What do you reckon, Aidan?
I don't know, 'cause
at your age, you're the other end of the scale. So,
You see, when I was Aidan's age, that's when I'd be very into politics and stuff like that. Yeah.
That seems to be the part.
I mean, I'm not like, I don't think I'm very much into politics. I just don't like the idea of. I mean, I'm just worried about some of the current policies and how that's like affecting our like liberty.
Well, that's how I would be, Aidan. I don't mean I was a member of the Labour Party and campaigning or anything. I would just be interested in how all these mechanisms work, all the stuff we don't know about, and darker elements of things, how this is affecting us, and all the stuff they don't tell you about.
Do you think, though, at your point, at Aidan's point, just quickly to interject, at your point in life now, it's easier to take that back step because you've established your life, your life's path. You know,
we're at different
your career's
stages
in
of
place.
life.
You know, your mortgage is set. Whereas when you're at Aidan's point in the race, it's like it's uncertain, and are you even going to get to the point where do you know what I mean? And also the wisdom of age as well.
And I think Aidan's age, I had like a faith in things. I grew up as a kid with a faith in things that people in power were good people and had honest intentions. And then you suddenly go through this turning point in your late teens where you realise that might not be the case. And it's quite a revelation, isn't it? And and you delve into it, you know. Yeah. And I was surrounded by friends that were like that, and we were always talking about it and God knows what. And when I was that age, it did make me feel good to be angry or like I was fighting. I was a part of
the good fight.
Yeah.
Meaning, privilege, purpose.
But the older you get, you realise, you know, life don't last forever and you need to prioritise. And then you get kids and all sorts that happens. And so really it just, it becomes about what you can control, doesn't it? And really just making the best course through life and making the best of what you've got and making the best for your family. And
I believe that, and we'll drop back to Aidan in a moment, but you're a bit older than me. I'm a substantial bit older than Aidan. And as I'm going through the years, that does seem to be the case. You have to resign yourself to the reality that when you're a kid, you kind of think the grown-ups know what they're doing and what's going on, and that there's parts of the puzzle that will fit, and you'll get up to the threshold of being an adult, and that do you know what I mean? And it'll all make sense, and
you have a faith in everything, don't you?
Yeah, faith. And then you realise, oh no, nobody knows fuck all. Everyone's making it up, and it's like actually, it's as good as our intentions, as good as we are in our core. In the end, everything just gets fucking bent out of shape and corrupted, and we just snatch what we can, and at the peril of whatever, isn't it?
Yeah, you're just ducking and diving and trying to get through it, really, aren't you? And then your kids come along, and you're like, shit.
Yeah. So, I mean, your kids are the same age as mine. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How do you feel? Do you ever stop to think forward for them? What's the world going to be like for them? Or do you not even bother with that?
Yes, so as it stands now, it's terrible what's happening, isn't it? Because like you know, because you delve into it a little bit with the coronavirus and everything. What we're doing at the moment is what we don't do in any other part of our normal lives. We're prioritising a group of people that are vulnerable to this disease over the youth, aren't we? And like if you go for a transplant or something in the NHS and you're of a certain age, if you're elderly and there's only so much access to what you need, and there's somebody young that needs it, then you prioritise the young, don't you? Because that's the only fair way. And for some reason at the moment, that's not happening, is it? We're throwing away our children's certainly economic futures for something that only affects, you know the stats, don't you? What is it? The average age of people that are dying are 82?
It's 80 something, of the mortality, expectancy of life of.
And I think that's where a lot of people's suspicion comes from, because they cannot believe why that's happening. There isn't an answer for it, is there? If you just follow simple common sense, then whoever's vulnerable should stay out of the way, be helped to stay out of the way. Some sort of effort should be made. So the problem that we've got about hospitals getting overrun isn't a problem, because it's quite clear that it only affects certain people. But that isn't happening, and people are wondering, well, what the fuck is happening here? Why are these people making these decisions? But I think a big part of it, from my point of view, whether there's darker reasons or not, you always, like Boris Johnson,
go on, Bojo,
has said. I remember it was on Facebook when it first came about, and he laid his path down quite clearly that he was gonna leave it up to the common sense of the British people, and be quite liberal in terms of what parameters he was going to lay out, what you couldn't and couldn't do. He's going to trust the common sense of the British people. I remember somebody put on Facebook that front page of newspaper, him saying that. And then underneath it, there was another page out of a newspaper with a story of a guy who, in middle of pandemic, had shoved 9 Cadbury's cream eggs up his arse and had to have hospital treatment. Now, you see, I grew up amongst these people, and I know these people, so I would know that would be inappropriate to follow that action, because when you're talking about the problem, really, if you're only talking about 1,000 deaths a day, that is not a lot of deaths in the grand scheme of things to bring everything to a halt.
Yes.
And when you think about the elderly people, vulnerable people, and the journey they take through medical treatment, i.e. they can be in hospital taking up a bed for weeks, then you only need a minority of people of that at-risk group to do the wrong thing, and we're all knackered. So why hasn't the guidance been stronger? Why hasn't it been quite plain that you people should be doing X, Y, and Z? And you walk round, find yourself in situations where you constantly see people that you would think were high-risk groups in high-risk situations, and you can't understand any of this. But yeah, that group, with the group of politicians we've got now, to understand people, it's like any knowledge in life, it comes with experience and knowing people. What do these lot know about the general public and stuff like that? What on earth would they know? Matt Hancock, Boris Johnson, they're all of a certain background, and I remember seeing a documentary not so long ago about, I think I've told you about this, about Hugh Fearnley-Whittingstall. Right. He was doing a documentary about food in Newcastle, about all the takeaways and everything, and he set up his a stall in the middle of Newcastle, and he was running his campaign through that, making people aware of junk food. And a lass approached him and says, "You're in the wrong place. The town centre, like a lot of town centres, are quite gentrified and stuff. The problem isn't here; it's in the suburbs." And she was from Walker, which Alex has spent some time in Walker. Yeah. So she was telling me. And so she took him down there, and he went through, he was in the back of this lady's car going through Walker. And I saw the pictures, it's just your typical quite a rough area. And Hugh Fearnley-Whittingstall said, "I'm so ashamed, but I'm so ashamed to say I didn't know places like this exist." Now, for me and you, I couldn't believe that. Even from somebody from an upper class, middle class background, I thought they would have some semblance of a realistic,
just reality.
Reality of
the whole nature of
stuff
their
like that.
work.
Because you're talking about a massive part of normal life there,
huge segment. Yeah.
But unfortunately, I think all these politicians, they don't know anything about normal people. So that is certainly a problem. Whether there is, I don't know whether there is other motivations and you carry on about theories along that line. I don't know, but that is certainly a problem as I see it. And that was what it's like going back to when I was growing up in Doncaster. You couldn't believe what was happening. Policemen were beating up people in the street. The Prime Minister that's elected by the population to serve the population literally ran that town where I was born dry and ruined people's lives to the extent you've got now where there's drugs everywhere and all the rest of it. But again, she was brought up in Grantham in the 1920s, 30s and 40s. You've been to Grantham.
Yeah.
If you imagine the size of Grantham, when you go into Grantham and all them bungalows, estates were even there, you could probably throw a pebble from one side of Grantham to the other. So again, a lot of these people, they're making these decisions that are fundamental to our lives, and they don't understand the vast majority of people out there and what the decisions mean, do they?
Yeah. No, I agree with you totally. And it's been interesting the last couple of days seeing how much of the big spending that's gone on with coronavirus via the Tory government has gone to connected companies, associates, friends of the party. Cajillions of pounds worth. So, you know, creating vials. You know, the company who got the gig for creating the vials to carry the potions in.
That's always been like that.
That's one of Matt Hancock's friends, and you know the story goes as reported. Yeah,
I mean, you talk about
30 million to his buddy, and they didn't even use him. They were like, but the contract, you know.
Well, is that just a case of like politicians being friends with people through?
Well, I think that's just how anything works.
That will never change. That's human nature, isn't it?
Dave, pass me that, mate.
When you become in a position of power, human greed and all the rest of it, that them size to everybody's character get out of control, don't they? In them circumstances.
So does that mean we're doomed then? Because this is coming back round to where we were before. About you're at Aidan's age.
I don't know.
In fact, let's come over to you, Aidan. So, Dave's gave us a run through from Thatcher's, you know, his time through now. So, you're 21 now, yeah?
20.
20. You're going to be 21 next stop.
Yeah.
In 21, yeah.
A few months.
Yeah. So.
Well, 2 months. Yeah.
2 months. What's the date of your birthday?
26th of February.
26th of February. So you saw that, ladies, watching. Get your lovely messages into 821. We're going to have to celebrate that.
Yeah.
On here, aren't we? So you're going to turn 21 in 2021. You're a millennial, literally. What, being 20 now and being a student of kind of the mental existence of human beings, philosophy, psychology, as you are, what's it been like for you lot? Never mind you trying to unravel it. What's it been like for you guys?
Pretty good, I'd say. In historical terms, it's been pretty good.
What, as a general place in time?
Yeah, I was thinking about this last night. I was thinking, like, I'm alive right now. I'm experiencing my life. Whatever, we've all experienced our own lives. But there's been people before me that have experienced I can't even imagine.
Like physical hardships, you know, that kind of thing. Difficulty in the way of how raw things were. Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm right now I'm being given 3 years to learn a subject, and the government's actually just paying me to do that.
Yeah.
So it's pretty good, but at the same time, like, I don't know. I guess it's a case of you want to work that out.
Yeah.
Is it good? I don't think anyone really knows what's going on.
No.
I think it's just a case of like you just holding on to your moral principles.
I think that's the thing that's weird, is you come, like Dave was saying earlier, you kind of get to a point where you realise nobody knows what's going on. And I know you love your history and you read, you know, a lot of historical stuff, whether it's philosophy or history itself. I don't know about you, but I often, when I'm reading history, I find it's almost mad to contemplate this all happened, you know, like, or I know it happened, but did it happen in the way that these words are unravelling right now? Because really, this is someone's interpretation of something. As I'm reading horrible histories, for example, with the kids, as I'm reading horrible histories and they're telling me about World War I and Franz Ferdinand and this and that and the other in the war, and he did this and they did that, and then they shot him on this day at this time, I'm thinking, who actually fucking knows the details of these things?
Yeah, just a version of events.
It's a version of events that gets written down at the time, and then that gets saved in somewhere, and somebody has to update that and keep it in a fresh record in a new building.
That is a trap we fall in, isn't it? Because we go through school, we learn history and everything, and it's just one source of information, isn't it? Which is obviously highly corruptible, isn't it?
Yeah, it seems mad.
You need to get about a bit, don't you? And
travel.
Chat to a few people. Yeah. In other words, really.
Yeah, travel. So doing a degree, Aidan, now, what's that been like with the right up to now? Coronavirus, social whatever it is, distance, and you can't do all the things you used to do. What's that like?
I think that the main thing probably is the fact that I'm paying.
Too right, Aidan. Yeah.
Paying all that money just for YouTube videos, basically.
Because we've discussed before coronavirus, haven't we, Aidan? And we've done these podcasts, you know, like your particular discipline psychology, you're reading the books, you're following certain YouTube channels and watching lectures and listening to certain philosophers who have the beauty of the things like YouTube now have channels, and they're just having lectures day in, day out that you can sit in, and you can sit on a 4-hour lecture of Jordan Peterson today, can't you? In your spare bedroom, in your pants, not even get out of bed and watch it, and then go into your lecture with your lecturer and him give you his lecture, and you've been privy to so much information and ideas off of your own back. So it's really strange, because you're kind of doing your own degree anyway, aren't you?
Yeah.
Because of your general zest.
Yeah, like it's weird because you can not pay to get an education that's completely guided by yourself, or you can pay for an education that's prescribed to you. But it's like, I don't know. I'm not passing judgment.
And
on
here's
either
one.
of those two.
Let me just jump in quick, because obviously with us unschooling our kids, a big part of the philosophy of unschooling is what you just said there, Aidan. And I never thought about it from the point of view of somebody older like you. When you seek out your education yourself, right? What I'm reading over and over again with the kids is when kids seek something out for themselves, the way the brain absorbs the messages and absorbs the information, the memory, the whole desire to keep that information and to absorb it is just phenomenal, as opposed to when it's prescribed. Okay, we're doing this now. Right, you need to do this and then this and then this. So isn't that funny when you say that? You seek it out yourself, and it's probably more powerful than you just ticking the boxes and fulfilling the obligations of the prescribed one. But the prescribed one is the one that has the certificate or the honour at the end of it that then leads you to the job. But you could have been somebody like, well, you're dual. You're doing both things. You're seeking your own education just via your zest for information and knowledge, which is probably feeding you in ways you won't even know for a long time. And then you're also doing the prescription, and you're ticking the boxes and making sure that you've done everything that they've asked you to do. And one of those things is going to, on paper, which is another thing that's up for debate now, because where are the jobs? Where are the jobs now? But when you get that bit of paper that says, yes, I'm qualified at this level, where is that job now? And actually, you being a passionate person who's learnt something you're really passionate about, that's probably much more valuable in the real world, I would assume.
So why are you going to university, Aidan? What's your purpose?
Just for the accreditation.
Yeah, so what's that leading to? Is it a vocational path that you're going through uni?
Yeah,
you're
so like,
trying to achieve something like that?
Yeah. So
yeah.
Like,
Sam, what you're saying is school and everything, it's sort of an automatic learning, isn't it? Like what you're saying, it's a prescribed thing, it's a method of learning, but it's just the parameters of life, isn't it? Unfortunately, you have to go through that, don't you, to get into that route, to get usually, not always, but usually to get a job, don't you?
Yeah.
I mean, I did exams at school, but I hated school. So my learning was all through a process that I didn't like. Right. So obviously when we're doing stuff we love, the learning's a lot deeper, isn't it? What we get out of it, it might not be facts and figures, but because we're investing so much emotionally in ourselves, we learn about ourselves, really, don't we? In them moments. That's probably the difference, isn't it?
I think exactly that. And
one's about ourselves, spirituality, and all the things that contribute to keeping us happy and things like that. All the really important things in life. Whereas the school stuff, when you see it like that, is bollocks, isn't it? It's not.
You just end up conforming. It's one size. It has to be one size fits everybody. We need to keep everybody sort of on the clock or within the parameters, safe. We need to keep everybody uniform. We need, and it's not that these things are terrible things. It's just when you really get down into the depths of like, well, what is the quality of something? Well, the quality is when you're engaged. It's difficult to be engaged in a room with 40 people doing fucking anything.
So you see it as having a negative effect then, obviously?
No, I don't think it's how do you balance it? this is, for me, it's a level of depth that you're willing to look at the situation. Number one, the education system is so rigidly implemented into our psyche as how we frame everything. Education, as we understand it, yeah, which is go to a good school, work hard, head down, get good grades, get to a good university.
That's the system, mate.
That's how we understand everything we've been sold.
To,
prosperity, success, to be respected, to have a life of, all of these honours and medals and privileges that we're told that we need to go after. It's strange when you think. You just said it as a man in his 40s. That when you learn, we're just talking before we came out here when we were doing music stuff about like the last couple of years. You've just all of a sudden, after 30 years of playing a guitar, actually got your head around. No, I need to learn I'm interested now in the theory, in the science, in the map of how this works. Whereas before, who knows why I know what? But the point is that you're passionate, you're interested, you're, like you said, emotional about it. And now you're learning, now it's going in. What I'm learning about this unschooling thing is not, how do I unschool them? It's understanding how they learn, what drives children, what not to do with them. Like correcting them all the time. It's fascinating, even when they're trying to speak or the spelling. One of my boys writes his threes the wrong way around, or sometimes Jesse will write backwards. He's a left-hander anyway.
Right.
So he'd have been burnt at the stake fucking once upon a time.
Yeah.
But he can write all his words how he wants to write them, but backwards in a perfect order. And then I would be like, no, not like that, like this. And, and what I'm learning from reading this John Holt, How Children Learn, is that to him, what that represents is if it's a 3 and it's upside down or it's back to front or whatever it is, it's a 3. And to him, that's what it represents. He's not at the point where he's aware of its actual symmetry and how it sits and how it faces the world.
Right.
But as it comes out of him, that is a 3. And that's what he means. And over the course of time, he will self-correct himself based upon what he keeps seeing, what he keeps repeating, what he keeps being privy to, just by his own curiosity, keeping moving forward. And each time that we step in and we say, no, not like that, like this, do it like this, not like that, that's putting a difficult...
so that's going to inhibit him in the long run.
Yeah, a psychological kind of breaks on him a little bit, and
it's doing him more harm than good, that sort of thing.
Yeah, really, and I'm not doing it any justice at all. But reading the book is really been about.
So where do you see this going long term and everything? Do you see him? Are they going to take exams and stuff? Or? Like the full life. You're going to homeschool them till. For the duration till the, I suppose, working age. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So what do you see them doing? Or?
Well, it really depends what they want to do, though. So if they get to 15, for instance, we walked in my studio room in the house today to do some music. Yeah. And his 6-year-old is sat on the desk, headphones on, guitar plugged in, GarageBand loaded, titled his project, and he's making a project. Yeah. He's got a drum kit on there. Friend of mine runs the Access to Music College. He said to me a couple of times, kids, we've had a couple of homeschool kids over the years. They've come here, they're a year or two younger than all the other kids who are coming out of school because they're just ready to come here. They do the interview, he said, and they've always been just really, really well-rounded and kind of beyond their years.
Right. What job? What's in this an interview for?
That's going to Access to Music College. So that's just a like an example of my first world life. A friend of mine runs a college, and we've talked about this thing, and he said, example is that they've always been consistently of a certain ilk.
Yeah.
Confidence. There's a confidence about them.
Yeah.
Now I don't know if that is going to ring true to anything that I'm doing or not, or what, but I kind of think about that, and I think, well, if they go towards that and they get to 15, 16 and they want to go to an art college, or they want to go to a music college, or they want to go to, whatever, study physics, if that's where it leads, And we're like, right, oh, well, to do that, we're going to have to go to this college, or we're going to have to get these exams, or then that's what we'll do.
Okay, yeah.
Simple as that, you know.
Okay.
It's if Sonny's 15 years old and he's blissing through all of
So
his...
as they grow up, you're going to start
child-led.
getting
It's child-led. The thing that I'm
Okay.
learning, Dave, which I'm fucking verbose to get to, is essentially it's child-led.
Yeah, no, I understand what
So
you're saying.
whatever he's buzzing
you'll
on,
assess that, and then
we'll just follow that and keep following that
yeah.
and keep following that, and we follow that, and that's it, because that's what he's infused about.
Yeah.
So we feed that, and then we learn about it. I mean, we've started doing it. We've always done it. I haven't had a meeting with some local people in the village. We've done it for 10 years. They've got a girl.
That's a big onus on you then, isn't it? Because yeah, you've that's a big responsibility then, isn't it? That's
Well, it is.
Yeah.
But also, what was really starting to, my wife and I, Alex, we'd lay in bed sometimes saying, nothing against anybody here, but like, we're handing our kids over to some people every day for 8 hours a day who we wouldn't necessarily sit and have a coffee and chew the fat with and share opinions and views and like perspectives and world energy with.
Yeah.
And now it's not all about having an echo chamber.
I remember my teachers.
It's not about creating an echo chamber in any way. Do you know what I mean? But like, when you do start to think about it,
let's face it, most of them are mental. You know, you think you've been kind there.
Well, it is when you know. I mean, everybody's different, and this is just where we are. It's just where we are. And I just know that when my kids are on it, they're into something, it gives me a buzz. I get a buzz.
Oh yeah, of course it does. Yeah.
And you've said this to me, something you've put into me about when you've took the kids off and you've gone up to the peaks and you get in the water and you're swimming in the water and everyone's in the water and, you know, like one thing leads to another and everybody's exploring.
See, I think that's more important side of life. Yeah, them experiences and that side of learning and stuff like that. Yeah.
Being in the world, practical, physical.
But I feel about school that, you know, the world has its ways, and there's certain things you can't kick against in terms of providing your children with options.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I can provide them experiences, what you're talking about, outside school.
Yeah.
But
I'm with you.
I do know what you're saying. Yeah, and like I have said, I think it's fact now that, you know, when I was at school, qualifications were everything. You know, that was drummed into you, and that was probably right. And there's been a change there now. I think as an employer, you can have kids coming through with qualifications and whatnot, but when you get a kid, most of them are fucked these days, kids, aren't they? You know what I mean? So when you get a kid that's got a sense of just common sense and a sense of the world and how to treat people and things like that, I would think nowadays you are getting employers that would, because of the way kids are, they'll prioritise that more than qualifications and the traditional examples of their fit for whatever role they're offering. You know what I mean?
I think
there's a definite change in the world.
It feels like today, and when you sort of we allude to kids are fucked today, I think a big part of that is what we said before. It's about the way that we've cushioned everything, we've made everything abundant, we've made everything just automatic. There's something in having to do nitty gritty, hard work, getting a lump of coal or a slap around the face for Christmas. We joke, by the way. You know, point being, when there's some grit and grind and earning something, some value, some meaning, that's what there is. There's some meaning.
Yeah.
There's some meaning.
Yeah. I agree with you totally. I agree with you totally. You know, what makes me essentially me and the good parts of me, it doesn't come from school, you know.
It's weird, man. I mean,
I mean...
What books?
Oh, there's something totally inappropriate.
No, there's nothing inappropriate on Untitled Chapter, Dave.
Oh, sorry, irrelevant. I meant actually.
Okay, well that's better. Sorry, Aidan.
What books are you talking about when you said that you'd read someone?
So I've just finished John Holt, How Children Learn. John Holt was one of the early kind of, I guess, a renegade in many ways, where he kind of turned his heels on the, you know, the the general and conventional school curriculum and the way that children learn and the education system. He was a teacher himself. I think he was like 50s, 60s. John Holt, how children learn. Yeah. If you can get a snippet, try and find a snippet, an audio snippet or trailer from this. Again, every time I read books, and I've listened to this one because I was listening to this one at work, I'm actually reading, at the same time I've been listening to this one, I've been reading Alfie Kahn, Unconditional Parenting, which is about, not just parenting, but it's about how children learn, but ultimately it's not even about school, it's just about kids and how the relationship between you and the child and how you conduct yourself and the way you use your language and the line of communication and the expectations and the idea that things are conditional or unconditional, which affects how they learn because it affects their confidence and their belief and their feeling of safety, you know, and being anchored and harnessed and confident and willing. That's really interesting to me. And that all is what slots straight into this idea that if you're in a position you're lucky, like Alex and I are. Is this John Holt?
Yeah.
Okay, let's listen to John Holt because he's a powerful dude.
Curious, eager to learn, extraordinarily resourceful and competent at learning, that they are, in the most literal sense of the word, scientists. They do exactly what scientists do. They use the scientific method in making sense of the world around them. And then they get to a certain age, which may be as young as 3, but in any case, the age of school, and this process is turned off by adults who think they are now going to direct and control the learning of these children, who they treat them like empty receptacles into which they are going to pour whatever learning they think they ought to have.
In 1964, John Holt, an Ivy League graduate and a teacher in alternative schools, published his first book, How Children Fail, in which he lays the blame for the failure of school children squarely on the compulsory school system. Not surprisingly, How Children Fail was extremely controversial, and John Holt was soon famous for rattling the American national consciousness. Perhaps no one knows more about John Holt and his work than Pat Ferenga.
I just said that's great. That'd be crazy what you said.
Yeah, well, but I'll tell you, Aidan, I'll tell you now, Christmas Day, isn't it, anyway? I've got you a book by him.
Oh, have you?
Because I've thought about you and I'm reading it. Like, he's talking about the basic... It's fascinating. We're getting in the way of kids. Yeah. We just need to make sure they're safe and they're loved and they're nurtured and then let them go. And you just know the parameters from there. Do you know what I mean? And I see that in your family anyway, and you've said that yourself in the sense of where you're at, which is you're out with the kids doing that stuff all the time. You're out there just free, exploring, just there's a looseness and it's anchored. That's what it is. And it's a big part of, you know, what we talked about at the beginning of this podcast this year. You've opened me up to that whole camping, wild camping. Every time I take my kids wild camping, it's some of the most powerful fucking things you'll ever see. Your kids running free in the woods, running free in nature, not a care in the world, coming up with games. Just that even. Coming up with games. As you mentioned before, you watched the telly for 45 minutes because that was when it was on, kids' telly, 45 minutes. Then you had to do something else. And when you've got to do something else when you're a kid, it comes from here. You're not being led. And I think what you're picking up on there, Aidan, about what John Holt just said there, we're just pouring whatever information into them we desire they think they need to know, when actually they are just a bubbling sponge and they're going to create wonder that we can't even begin.
Yeah, I think that was similar to like.
See if you can get Alfie Kahn, Unconditional Parenting.
Is it F-I?
K-H-O or N, I think, or O-H-O-N. Unconditional Parenting. Yeah, there it is. This is, I mean, I'm reading this at night, and again, leading earlier in the podcast when you mentioned about my upbringing, I'm reading this at night, and it's painful. It's painful because all of the way that I was brought up was conditional, let's say. You know, if I fulfill these obligations and these criteria, then I can be accepted and loved, and I can be seem to be reaching the the heights or the precedent that's been set for me.
Right.
And if I don't meet that, then I'm outside of that love, and it's weird because my worst parts of my parenting are that imprinting of that, when I catch myself like that. Do you know what I mean? Like being a bit informal and expectant, and I don't know. It's been quite painful reading about it.
Yeah.
But some discipline's necessary, though.
Yeah, listen, man, you've been there. You've seen what goes on with my kids, Aidan.
Yeah.
Discipline is absolutely part of the package. There's no question.
Are you going to be teaching them academical stuff then, similar to school?
So what we do at the moment, we're just reading. And again, if you were to listen to that book I've just listened to, Dave, that John Holt, How Children Learn, which has nothing to do with unschooling, it's nothing to do with parenting per se, it's how children learn.
Yeah.
It's mind-blowing, and instinctively and intuitively.
You know, earlier on when you were saying, and I know your intention for your kids is to give them the best life, right? I've known you that long. You know, you're a lovely person, good parent.
Thank you.
So
cut that out, Aidan.
So a lot of that is to do with giving your children options, isn't it? And like what you're alluding to first, it's going to be child-led. So the spectrum is everything, isn't it? So if you get an understanding of one of your children's taking a path that needs it's a very academical path or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
How at what age will you identify that, and how well will you be through your path you're taking? How robust that will be to provide them at that stage a path into that in terms of academics and stuff.
That's something we're going to have to work out, because it's an ever-changing platform now as well, isn't it? The way it's being, like, for instance, okay, so let's say Sonny he loves his literature and he's a writer and he's well into it, and he's reading all of the people, and he's blowing us away with what he's reading, and he's writing stuff, and it's like, whoa. Then we have to sit with him and we have to say, okay, what do you want to do with this? And we have to look at what are the options in the culture. What are the options? Can we be an intern at some company somewhere? Or do we need to get a specific degree to move in this direction? Can you just write and self-publish? I don't know. We have to. I'm not too held up at the moment on that point when we hit, let's say 7 years from now, when we're sort of 13, 14, 15.
Yeah.
What we're going to do at that point, because I really don't know what's going to happen at that point. My kids might say to me next year, Dave, I want to go back to school, Dad, I don't like it.
Right.
And I'll say, okay.
Right.
Do you know? Because it's child-led. We're not just, my wife and I aren't just gone, fucking, fuck the world and,
no, absolutely.
Pull them out. We've talked to them. How do you feel about school? They've come out, and COVID's been a big reveal for us. Before my first son was born, Alex and I talked a lot about what would we do schooling-wise. Didn't like the idea of him necessarily just churning through something for its sake. And then as we always kind of thought, well, we'll play it out with them and we'll see what happens. And it'd probably be when they're like going into big school, when we're probably homeschool. That's what we used to think. We're homeschool. Never really thought any more about it than that. And then leading up to COVID, there was a couple of things happening with my kids where I think they were starting to train them to not have a wee. You had to have a wee on your break or on dinner, And then if you asked for a wee, like, fucking, you were kind of encouraged to, no, you should have a wee. And I'm thinking, fucking, they're 5, man. What 5-year-old needs to go to the toilet, he just needs to go to the toilet. That's
strange, man, isn't it?
So
that's strange.
Little things.
What school? That's your local school here?
Yeah, no, listen, my little local school's a great little school. I was really happy with it. It's nothing against, there's nothing to an individual establishment or... You said it yourself. It's structure. It's very self. It's the momentum of structure. I just think it's big and it's homogenized, and it's, for us, doesn't feel right. And these things happen. And then up to COVID, when they start teachers wearing masks and everybody and the kids can't sing. I think one of the first days into the COVID thing when I went back to the school, it was so and so's birthday today, but we couldn't sing happy birthday. We had to put the headphones on, and the telly sang happy birthday, and
it's fucked up.
And I'm starting to think things like that, and then Sonny got told off because he shared a pen or he grabbed someone something and he got a little bit of a telling off, and then they're not allowed to go to the toilet, and my little boy's weeing himself about 4 days in a row.
I don't know what you're saying, yeah.
And I just thought, this is where we are now, Dave. That's not getting better. I mean, whatever's going to happen in the new version of the world, COVID world.
Yeah.
Kids at 5 and 6 year old, you are literally imprinting them. You're imprinting their hard drive forever. So if you learn at 5 for a couple of years to 7 that you don't hug people and you stay away from people and you wash your hands, my little boy's hands coming home from school, his hands are fucking red raw.
Yeah, my youngest is like that. It's not red raw, but she don't like
She's
it.
Not
and
far off.
They're sore.
I mean, we've sent in our soap and stuff, but you know what it's like. Kids get caught up in the whatever, and
it's
they just
weird.
do what they're told.
I mean, I don't know. There is things like that. I don't know why they're sanitising kids' hands when they and when they're sore.
With cheap, shitty, fucking chemical-ridden shit. Not with good stuff. Not with thoughtful. Just shit. To tick the box because Ofsted said, "Have you got the fucking hand sanitizer?"
But life is fucked up, innit, a lot of the time. You know, we were on about it at work the other day, innit, about all the ups and downs. You do need the shit and the good stuff and the whole all the colours on the palette that make whatever it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like my dad, he was. He was about 7 to 13 when the Second World War were on. His dad was at war for 7 years. Didn't send any money home. They were very poor. His mum was sent to the fields to fart about, cutting veg for cause and all that. So there was horrible aspects to his childhood. You know, if you think of your father at war, and every knock on the door, he says he thought, that was just it. But he was one of the best people. Obviously, you always think highly of your dad, don't you? But
I don't think everybody does.
He was a good bloke. There was plenty of people at his funeral, you know what I mean? He was a really good bloke.
Yeah.
And his childhood was fucked up. So there is that aspect to it, isn't there?
Yeah, that'll never change. That for sure. That'll never change. It's a. I don't know.
Shit happens, and we are very adaptable and. Yeah,
I see what you're saying.
You know what I mean? It's all part of life's thing.
I just feel like the way we are right now, 2021, whether we spoke to Aidan earlier, who's 21 years old and he's doing his degree and he's kind of doing it via a FaceTime call, when on the other screen on his laptop he's listening to Jordan Peterson or fill in the blank philosopher of our times, who's probably giving him as much valuable information just off the cuff.
Yeah.
You know, like we're in this confusing time, and for me, as I've learnt from you this year with wild camping and getting my family out wild camping and all the rest of it, and so many conversations on this podcast this year with people who are just fucking ecstatic dancing or meditating or just simplifying, man. And I think taking your decision making away from other people as much as we can. And that's kind of where I'm at. And this thing with the kids out of school, it was their last day yesterday.
Yeah.
And for the last couple of weeks, I've been saying to them every now and again, because every now and again at night we'll mess about with meditating, and it's me totally blagging them basically. Wow. You know, they've realised that if they say, "Daddy, can we meditate?" they can like have me in the room for like an extra 10 minutes before we actually go to sleep. Can we meditate, Daddy? I'm like, go on then. Okay. So I'm like, all right. And I'm thinking, nice one. The kids, so we sit and we just 10 breaths, sat, eyes shut and just think and that and be grateful and all that. Kiss, night. And I said to them these last couple of weeks, I said, boys, how do you feel about, you've only got a couple of weeks left and then that's that, Are you okay? Are you upset? Fucking hell, we're on fire, Dave. Let's keep that going. Is that a good one?
Move the icebox. Move the icebox.
Let's move the icebox.
I thought I'd smelt some burning.
There we go, Bobby. It's like we're out camping, Dave, isn't it?
Yeah.
Anyway, I said to the boys a couple of times, I said, look, if you can, every now and again, boys, in this last week, I said, if you do find yourself in a moment, I said, have a couple of breaths like we do when we're doing our meditating. And I said, and just remember the chairs. Remember the markings on the tarmac. Remember your friends' faces. Remember your coat peg. I said, just have a look around. I said, because you might not see that again. That might be the last time you see that. I'll just try and remember your friends and remember things. Remember the things that stick out. And they did it, and they sort of forget about it, and just saying it in passing as an idea. But then 2 nights later, Sonny come in and he said, Daddy, you come in. He said, I had a moment today, and I thought about my friends, because I won't see them, will I? But I will see them, won't I? Because we'll go to the park after, because there's a park straight outside the school. Yeah. So 3 nights a week, we'll just go to school anyway, and play with all his mates for an hour after. Yeah. But it was really nice that he'd kind of gone in some way or another. Yeah, yeah. But the whole point being is that we just speak to him, how are you feeling? What do you want to do? Gives us there is a little bit of pressure in the sense of, for Alex and I, because the more I'm learning this is, if I'm in the room, not necessarily with you today, because obviously we've got guests and we're doing something, we're playing the garage band, but if I'm in there on the garage band and somebody comes in and he wants to do something and he's got that little bit between his teeth and he wants to get on it, then I've got to start being less selfish in those moments and recognising the moment to latch on to his little bit of energy. Yeah. And push that. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, yeah. And then realising that when we are in GarageBand, this isn't him and me having bonding time having GarageBand. This is him learning all sorts of shit. He's learning the navigation in the machine. He's learning how to save files. He's learning general housekeeping. Yeah. By which I mean everything. How to keep things tidy, leave it as it was, wrap the wires up, put that back. Yeah. There's a lot going on. Yeah, yeah. And I've got, as you witnessed today when we sat down and I put the file on, and it was there's 4 or 5 titles in GarageBand of his little projects that he's started. Yeah, yeah. It's weird. I mean, I totally agree with you about the importance of all that. Totally agree with you. Totally. Yeah, I just, it's exciting. It's exciting. We'll see what happens 2021. Yeah. Yeah. In the world we're in, fuck it, give anything a go. Wish you all the best. Give it all a go. Yeah, yeah. Anything can happen. What do you reckon, Aidan? Aidan, you're going to stick your head in every now and again, Aidan, aren't you? And make sure they're academically sound. Yeah. 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 You've Aidan sat with the kids a couple of times and, and use that energy, because they love it when comes round. When Aidan comes round, it's like, wow. I'm sure they'll be fine, mate. I'm sure they'll be fine. I'm sure. Yeah. I hope so. I hope so. And if they're not, then fuck it. If they're happy, that'll do. Happy and healthy. In 2021, I think that's not a bad crack. If you can achieve that, if you can achieve happy and healthy in 2021, I think you're winning, aren't you? Yeah. Hey? Yeah. I think we need a Christmas song, Aidan. Have you got a request for a Christmas song, Dave? Well, what's he going to sing it? No, oh, fuck. I'll tell you what we should do, though, before we go to a Christmas song, let's play a bit of Gentleman's Club. You go on Instagram. Who's Gentleman's Club? Yeah, go to the Chew the Chat Instagram, Aidan, and then pick up... did I share something on there? We did a little demo, didn't we? That happy pictures. You and Michael wrote... A sad gentleman's club. A sad generation with happy pictures. What are you on about? There you go. One, yeah. I know them, yeah. A sad generation with happy pictures. No, he's just called it Happy Pictures. The digital. But I only spoke to him about him over day. Only told me briefly over day. I think he's called it Happy Pictures. I might have to send it to you, Aidan, actually. You think he'll be watching? Yeah, God, of course he fucking will. Hello, Michael. Merry Christmas, Michael, and children, family. Hope you're having a lovely time. Episode 13 was with Michael, I think. If you check that out, anybody wants to go back and check out episode 13 with Michael. Boring. It was a funny one. We had a lot of races on my head. We were doing branded. No, that was the one. That's not been published, Dave. That's not been published, no. We've got that. We could show some of that, actually. Is that been canned? In fact, we should show... Yeah, we should show... We should show Dave some of that. Why, so he's not showing you when you crash your van twice in 5 minutes? No, Aidan's got that footage. We should. That's just what I'm saying. We should show you some of that footage because Aidan's got some of that. You haven't seen any of that.
Why was that cut? It was a bit uneventful, wasn't it?
I'm going to send this to you, Aidan.
On what grounds was that can then? On what grounds was it binned?
If you want.
I've just airdropped you something. So this is the Digital Hill Gentlemen's Association, which is a collection of fathers and young men.
So on what grounds was that film binned? How did that?
Not because of the topical content, not because of the racism or the cynicism.
Apart from Michael, there's no racism.
There's the naked. No, the audio. Just the. I couldn't rescue the audio.
Oh, right.
The audio was just fucking shit, which is a bummer. It was a bummer. We'd have been better off with just recording straight into the iPhone than all that gear.
So what was the problem then? Wind or something?
No, the little lapel microphones. I think the lapel microphones that were a little bit vulnerable, all going into one adapter into one Mac. It was
so no one's going to see us swimming or anything.
No
one's going to see us swimming or anything.
No, you'll see all this. I will. In fact, Aidan did a little clip of something the other week. So you have to get that up, Aidan, as well. Once you've had a look at this, he did a little bit of music as well. It's lovely. So it looks like it's going to work out great, doesn't it? For people who are wondering.
Oh, that's me in pants, isn't it? I was going to say it was that poor old man to right.
In fact, I need to borrow them ones. I need to borrow some of them on Monday, David.
Of course. Why? What's happening Monday?
We're going camping, aren't we?
Yeah.
You want another beer? Or do you want another whiskey? There's Mr. Michael McKenna.
This is like it, isn't it?
So
I've never seen anything like this in my life.
I crashed. Well,
the second time you got stuck, I turned round to Michael.
This is the first time we got stuck. We did get stuck. Yeah. You said to me, I parked lovely, and you said, no, you can't park there. You need to go back up there, look, near that bank. So I went up there.
No, see that on the left of my van? That bit of flat grass? I meant that, look. You can get about 6 vans side by side in there. You parked in a river. You thought it was like Windsor Park in London, innit? You just leave the road, you can go wherever you want.
Just going to pop his head in the passenger door. Yeah, that was a mistake.
And then I've never seen anybody repeat that within what was it? Must have been less than 2 minutes.
That's like the Christmas jinx. Get that.
Same reason you can't drive.
Excuse me. Yeah, and then this was the second one. Look, we pulled up 20 yards down the road, didn't we?
Yeah.
And we slipped down that grass, I had to crank the anchor.
You nearly went straight through that fence, didn't you? And down that ravine.
That waterfall. But then it got better because then somebody else was trying to leave who'd already parked, and he couldn't get out. So then we helped him try and get out.
Yeah, I turned round and I thought I'll wind Michael up here. I was, oh Michael, Sam's stuck again. And I turned around and I thought, hang on a minute.
He is.
Yeah. That was really strange. Do you know, I said to you once, you since I've known you, right, you nearly killed me. Right. Yeah, because I was half in your vehicle and you floored No, hang on a minute.
You're being irresponsible that night, Dave.
Yeah. All right, okay then. There was another. You went on holiday, had a hire car, and didn't you do 2 tyres?
Yes.
Lost a wing mirror and caused some light body damage.
You've embellished that.
Right. So there's all that to consider, and I think you reversed your car into a skip and smashed the back window. And I said to you once, I goes, I don't think you're a very good driver. And you went, how dare you? I'm an excellent driver, actually.
That sounds about right. I know, and those sequence of events did happen, although they sound much worse than what they are. Reversing the Ranger into the back of a skip in the dark, that was a fucking categoric fuck up. which I was fuming.
Have you heard about this, Aidan, right? I was half in his car and he puts his foot through the floor, 0 to 60 in 3 seconds, and deposits me at middle at A46.
Right, I'll tell you what happened, right? We went to watch a gig in...
That's not right.
In Nottingham. We were very drunk. I wasn't, because I was driving. I wasn't drunk at all. I'd just been with my friend CBD, and we stopped at the side of the motorway so the boys in the back could have a wee-wee. You'd had a McDonald's as well. Can you remember? Because the McDonald's was on the ceiling. Can you remember?
Yeah, he's still on about that.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
Anyway, the lads are out having a wee. Everyone's getting in the van. They're out the van. They're in the van. Yeah. Off we go. Oh, no, he's not in the van. He's fucking off underneath the van. Bouncing off the tarmac with his hip. His old
you are the
hip.
worst driver I've ever seen in my life.
No, I'm not a great driver. I'm too hasty.
Fucking useless.
I'm a hasty driver, and I'm...
well, I mean, it's technically...
You're all right in a straight line, basically, on the motorway, and that's about
Are you a good driver, but it's just the decisions around driving that aren't good?
I'd like to think so. I mean...
What kind of bollocks is that, Aidan?
I feel like I'm a confident driver, Aidan, to be fair. I mean, not only crashes and stuff, but...
like, technically good at driving. Like,
I'm also aware that I'm probably just a fool for my own nonsense. But I haven't crashed. You know, you fell out. I mean, that... You were in though, were you? You were half in, half out. I mean, whose fault is it? But you're not the only person who's been in that situation in the back of my car either. But no, driving into the back of that skip...
Michael told me afterwards.
Yeah,
you were in a
what was
car
that?
park because someone launched someone out of the back seat.
That's it, yeah.
Nice, grill taps, oh, look at that. You can put your phone with that, can't you? I think they're done to work your phone as well, aren't they? Skiers and stuff when you need to...
Yeah, it's good stuff, this, isn't it?
That was a great day, that was.
Yeah.
It was a great day.
You had a good camping pitch, Aidan, didn't you?
Oh, it's ace. You and him. You both
Is there
had...
a picture on this? Yeah, because you turned up and walloped your tent up the first fucking 10 seconds.
There's Aidan, look.
Yeah.
Look at that. Go on, son.
That's best camping spot I've ever seen.
It's great, isn't it? I went up to see. That's like
I told you to go up there because the weather forecast said it was going to be windy as fuck. But
well, I had these rocks here. But, I mean, they only protected me from one angle, though.
Was it a bit windy?
I don't remember.
No, I don't think it was. It was you were absolutely fascinated how it wasn't windy. You were like, I think you called me a good luck charm. Actually, you said that when I've come with you up the hills, it's been the wind has been like non-existent. Until last time when we was on one of them free...
Good luck charm, not to do with driving. But, yeah.
It was beautiful, though. I mean, we could probably put that thing out, you know, because it is funny. I mean, I'm crying in it.
We should go there with kids, shouldn't we?
Yes,
be
take
great.
the kids next year, yeah.
Because when you get up there with kids, you can just set up camp and just tell them not to where to go, and they can just run around.
Yeah, it'd be amazing. Yeah, they'll love that.
Great place, isn't it? I think I've camped about there nearly 10 times around there now.
Oh, you did a time lapse as well, didn't you? Which was really cool. Excuse me, it's my chest.
It's nice when it's...
Yeah. And we were in that dip, weren't we, the next day?
Yeah, we were swimming down there.
That was lovely, yeah. Went round that other side, didn't we? Yeah, somewhere there where you were on that cursor.
You're a good swimmer, Aidan. It's good, isn't it?
You were going to go for it.
It's
You
like
were
a
feeling
fucking,
like going across, Aidan, weren't you?
It's like a torpedo.
Yeah.
It was the thing that I knew my parents would tell me I shouldn't do, or I'm not allowed to do. So their implicit presence.
How children learn, yeah?
Yeah, exactly.
Let them go.
They told you not to go swimming?
No, it just seems like the kind of thing that I would be like...
Of course,
you know,
yeah.
if you
I
were
mean,
like,
I even said to you, fuck it.
Yeah, you told me not to
go. Yeah, but didn't Aidan say to you, I'm going to swim right to the other side?
Go for it. And I was like, oh, mate, it's probably further than you think.
Is that what you said, Aidan? You're going to swim?
Yeah, I said
fancied it.
Well, that's why your parents tell you not to fucking do things, because you're fucking idiots.
Because I what? Because I was thinking it. Before I said it.
You're literally going to do it.
Yeah, you shouldn't be swimming to the other side.
But what you should do is say, okay, go for it, and know that I'll have to grab you if it goes.
What's the worst that could happen though? Like I get halfway and get bored and come back.
Yeah, or get
No,
caught in some
you
crazy
get cold,
current.
don't you? Fucking tired.
You
and you can't put your feet on bottom, so you sink.
No.
And then you can't breathe underwater.
It wasn't that cold.
No, that's how people get carried away. I've been in that situation many a time. You know, swimming out to sea and feeling great. This is brilliant. I never even knew I was this good a swimmer. You know what I mean? You're fucking blasting it. And then you turn for home and you're like, fucking hell, look how far I am out. And you're fucked.
Yeah, there's nothing left.
Yeah, and sea seems to be dragging you out, not pushing you in.
Current's got you.
Yeah.
Go on have you got on your page? Is that thing on your page, Aidan, that you put the music to the other day? You put a little guitar link, didn't you, on your Instagram? The Digital Hill Gentlemen's Association. So that is a governing body.
What is this?
Of gentlemen who make. Oh, is that? Yeah, that's where our tents were, wasn't it? Is that?
That's you too, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's not this.
There's you, Dave. I can see your head.
White hair, isn't it?
Yeah,
you see
beautiful.
white hair.
The man of Middle Earth. Excellent.
I don't think I've got it actually. Have you got your Bluetooth connected?
Yeah.
You could just play it through if you want.
Can you see it?
Oh, you want to watch it as well?
Where's the pull that if you go, I've just airdropped you that the Digital Hill Gentlemen's Association.
Yeah, it
Sad
failed.
Generation.
It failed. Try it again.
Did it fail? This little bit of ditty that we've been messing about with. That was fun today, Dave, wasn't it?
You like that?
Yeah, that was great
That was
fun.
a really good time.
Yeah, we'll have to have another listen to that. I'll send you this, Aidan. Airdrop. Ah, here we go.
That.
So Aidan's just put a little guitar.
Fucking show off. It's nice, that, Aidan.
Yeah, it's lovely.
Nice.
What's that buzzing? Is that me?
Oh, so it's just the
Finger picking's ace, isn't it?
Yeah.
Finger picking. When you're like, there's no better way to feel a connection to guitar, is there? You know, finger picking, and you get that vibe and rhythm going.
Yeah,
Did you get that,
Magic.
Aidan? Waiting. It says waiting. While I'm waiting.
There we go.
Yeah, so this Sad Generation with Happy Pictures clip. The Digital Hill Gentlemen's Association. There's the water. Yeah, it's fun that.
That's cool.
Isn't it?
Yeah, cool.
It's fun. We just kicked about something earlier, and you put a lick down, Aidan, didn't you?
Try to live up to it.
Yeah, it's cool. It's been a
You
good
didn't let
year,
me down,
Dave.
did you, Aidan? Guitars and that?
Pardon?
You didn't let me down, did you?
Aidan didn't let you down. Aidan put a Syd Barrett-esque Pink Floydian.
Don't tell me anymore. I'm going to want to hit him.
Christmas Day. What
Go
did
on,
you
what
get
were you
anyway?
going to say? Syd Barrett what?
It's got that kind of enigmatic Pink Floydian
You fucking show off, Aidan.
arc to it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, nice.
I think it'd be a nice addition.
Yeah, I can't. I need
nice
to hear that. I
addition.
bet that's cool, man. Nice.
We'll kick that about. I think.
Do you who do you jam with then, Aidan?
I don't really. I just do it on my own.
Aidan's one of these guys that's just. He's got like
Because jamming's good as well, isn't it? You know, when the volume's up.
I think when especially when you're connected to other people as well, like I feel like someone like Aidan, and somebody like me, I'm like a prizer. You know what I mean? Like I'm
No.
what I mean is then, Dave, for your understanding, I love to see when you can get when you can get stuff out of people that they've got, that you can see they've got, but they maybe just a little bit, I'm not sure, and I'm like, no, fucking get it out. I love that. And somebody like Aidan, he's got it in abundance. And I think everyone's different. You might not like being in a room and cracking it out. I mean, it's a bit weird when you hit play and right, record, go, put it down.
No, I don't like that.
It changes all of a sudden.
Like that,
Oh, fucking hell.
Yeah.
You had a dab on earlier, didn't you?
It's all new to me, all that sort of thing. And like what you're saying, there's all sorts of inputs into music, innit? And whatever it gets it, that whatever your skills are and all that, whatever it makes it special. Yeah.
Yeah, because you just
when I just play in a room, it's shit.
And then you start putting, and there's a lot of trust involved. I find it to be quite the metaphor for like how you live your life. Like if you can collaborate with somebody and like be open to the idea and not be married to your initial thing, whatever it is. I had it down like this, and I thought it would be a 4/4 and if you can kind of trust, there's something in trusting, letting it go. Okay, there's my whatever it is, the guitar part. Okay, here's a drum part. All right, well that necessarily where I thought we were going, but
I mean, when you're 46, you know what I mean. And you stand outside
you're
at
just
road
having a wee every
people,
15 minutes.
Yeah, and people want to help you across that road if you stand there too long and stuff like that. Then it's only about the enjoyment then, isn't it? There's nothing else.
Yeah, totally.
Because I've never really understood. Like, I've been in situations where people start thinking about gigs and you start rehearsing songs over and over and again, and that's not really enjoyable to me.
That's the difference, kettle of fish, because at that point you're in. And that also depends on where you're at as well.
I maybe sound like a prat there saying that, a bit pompous or something like that. But when I was younger, I would have been into that, because the end game's getting somewhere and making some money and stuff like that.
Well, not even that. I don't to step in. I don't even think it's that. I think talking from the experience of being younger and in the band and doing that that. It was always like, wow, we can take. Bit like you on your room on your own.
That was a crude thing to say. It's about money.
No, it's absolutely
right.
spot on because I think it's straight up. But like you said there, at 46, even in your room on your own, bang, 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 to then being in a room with a couple of lads and just recording stuff on a Sunday and just having a laugh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
For me, when I was 18, like the few of us in a room buzzing off each other was amazing, and the idea that we could go on a stage, and have fucking people come here to hear it that was fucking amazing as well. And it was like, wow, and then when you did it and people did it was like, fuck,
oh, but
that was crazy. But again, like we said earlier, like you get a bit longer in the tooth and your kicks come from different angles, don't they? Because you've learned that's all part of that cycle, isn't it, of affirming yourself, I guess.
Yeah. But you know what you're talking about. What were you going to say, Aidan?
No, I was just going to say, is that kind of what you're saying with like, having to rehearse for a gig? You lose kind of some of that magic.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
That's true too.
And like what you're saying, what I said was really crude. I shouldn't have said it's about money.
I said you said. What you said? No, what I said.
But yeah, not about money. But your ambitions then are good ambitions, aren't they, to do something good? But as soon as that ambition's involved, it all does start getting a bit corrupted and egos and all the rest of it, doesn't it? Whereas when it's just plainly for enjoyment and it's spontaneous.
Well, as you well know, you know,
like Aidan's saying, it's
you've educated me more so on band like the Velvet Underground, where they were famed. That their fame was their infamy of that, wasn't it? Like they just fuck that.
It's
make
that
music.
and that guy being Welsh, yeah.
Wasn't it though?
That's what made it special.
And I understand that with you totally. It's almost like it's a bit like the education thing. As soon as we formalise it and turn it into a thing, the magic's removed, the emotions removed, the connections removed. We're all aware that we've got to do, connect A to B, and
he starts getting dragged away from the point that it's art.
Yeah.
Art is the purest form, and then and all this other thing seems to drag it in other directions, doesn't it?
Well, you know what I think would be really cool, just having like an improvising band, but just that goes around to like bars and stuff, and just plays some like really like. It's not trying to be the centre of attention. It's actually just trying to be the background music.
Yeah.
And I like
fit, like layer and environment kind of thing.
There's lots of artists like that. Yeah.
And you could do that, like just like that's not something that's like requires infinite amounts of practice, and you could do that for long periods of time.
The only people though I've seen like successful at that sort of thing, they've made a career first and earned loads of money. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I'm not saying it's like a career. It's like a hobby.
No, exactly.
Yeah. Sorry, I missed that.
But what happens if you are, as I'm pointing at down the camera here, but this is a poster, Pink Floyd, The Wall, Roger Waters' masterpiece. If you have written a song or an album or a concept or a piece like that in your room, and you've come up with these sequence of chords and this arrangement and this song, and it's shit hot. And then you play it to somebody else and fucking hell, play that again. Fucking hell, have you heard, play him that. Then that becomes the thing in that way on its own, doesn't it? Where it sort of grows its own existence and life. And you hear big bands talk about that journey and how they go from the magic of creating that to then like it becoming a standard or something that's expected, and then you have to do it kind of even in an artistic way, that ends up twisting on itself, doesn't it?
Can make somebody hate something that was so inspirational and great, doesn't it?
We joked earlier about fucking going to bed early, didn't we? We're going to bed that early that we're getting up in the middle of the fucking night. You got up at half two. He's going to bed that early, waking up at fucking 2:30 in the morning.
Yeah, I've been getting through a phase of that as well.
He's having to go for a bike ride at like 5 o'clock in the morning just to do something. Yeah, well, we're going to bed with my kids. Obviously, it's manic at tea time. You get in once upon a time from school. And that's another thing. That whole regiment of the routine of like, right, fucking hell, uniform, blah, blah, this, that, the other. That'll be different next year, but in the last couple of weeks, come in and get everything done. Right, fucking in bed, I'll bath them, you do that, you sort the kitchen out, well, I'll do blah, fucking everyone's juggling the madness.
I know what you mean.
Then I get in bed with my little boy. Right, who wants cuddle first? Me! They're on bunk beds, right? And we have a little thing every night. And I say, who wants cuddle first? And sometimes I say it as fast as I can fucking say it, Scatman. Oh, they're gonna, me! And it's always dead. So we have to do it 10 times, you know what I mean, to see who's the winner because it's so close. Who wants cuddle first? Me. Anyway, first one, in we get, horrible histories. We're off reading, whatever we're reading. Get out of that bed, into the next bed. Cuddle, right, how was your day, blah, blah, and I'm fucking, every minutes are passing by and I'm just fucked. Downstairs, Alex, she comes out of the little girl's room, little girl's like nearly asleep, but not quite. So I go in there, lay with her for the last 5 minutes. 8 o'clock, I'm out of her room and I'm just in my bed, fucked, asleep, knackered, done. That is it. I'm going to sleep. And then I lay with my missus, and we'll be laughing like, what the fuck's going on? It's 8 o'clock. We're in bed, fucked. And then we will just be like, fuck, what a miracle it is. Like, I've just been laid with like that little boy up there, just chatting about this, and then you mentioned that, and it's them moments.
Oh yeah.
For me, them little moments when you're like, oh, and he read this, and like, oh. And you sort of get enough time to just stop from the wheel of everybody's lives turning in these different directions, and you family wheel that, and just enough to kind of like, fucking hell, he's nearly 7. He's 7, and we're like,
yeah, that's life, man, isn't it?
Fucking like a whippet, man.
Yeah,
it's so crazy. It's so crazy.
Well, it's great, though, isn't it?
It's amazing.
Great. Yeah,
it's amazing.
It's great.
And
what you're describing is just ace, isn't it? It's amazing.
It's something else, man.
Yeah.
And all those crazy times that we've had,
And if I feel that good, think how my kids feel. You know what I mean?
Oh, well, listen, happy Christmas, boys.
Yeah.
Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. I hope 2021 is a good one. I hope it's, fucking hell. What do you say about 2021?
Fuck knows, the future's unwritten, isn't it?
Doc, more of your attitude.
I'm willing to dive in, mate. You know what I mean?
I'll take your attitude on about, whatever. Leave the politics alone, let it be what it is, move along, kind of go through those gears. I'm worried, but my kids, we're on an adventure in the family. We're taking the kids out of school. It's going to be a mad one. We'll see what happens. Yeah. It'll be fun. We're going to be camping. We're camping in a couple of days, aren't we?
Yeah.
And plans for bike camping and getting on the bikes.
Yeah, that'll be
It's going to be a fun year, I think.
Yeah.
Right. Well, listen. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for people listening and watching.
We're going to Brazil on the bikes. You heard it.
Get yourself down the bottom. Subscribe, like, hit the notification. Here we go.
When Santa got stuck up the chimney, he began to shout.
You girls and boys won't get any toys if you don't pull me out. My beard is black, there's soot in my sack, my nose is tickly too.
When Santa got stuck up the chimney,